Tonight's live broadcast is going to be rated ESV PG. Some topics can get pretty deep, so we don't know what we'll say. Good evening, everybody. On tonight's show of Ear Shoulder Voice, what happens to you? What changes over the years? Do you know why? If you be a really great person, a really nice person, and all of a sudden you look back and say, I'm not who I once was, and you look for a reason why that is. We're going to talk to people who have been broken, and they know who and what is responsible in most cases. Sometimes they don't, but we're going to discuss how you can see the signs, what you can do, and if you're one of those people that could be breaking another. You guys ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Oh, wow. Nikki's definitely ready. I like that. All right, let's do it.
Love is everywhere. Love is everywhere. Where you go, I'm there. Together, always together. Together, always together.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Ear Shoulder Voice. What happens to people? What do people end up going through? What changes within them? You take a really good person, you take somebody that gives everything they have to the world, who believes in humanity, who believes in good people, that they're not going to hurt them and do them wrong, and they slowly get destroyed. You take a person who will invite anybody into their house, anybody at any time, and they get robbed continuously. Who keep their friends close, who will supply them with any money, anything they need. Some call it buying friends, some call it just, give an example where people using them, but no. It's because they trust in you. And then what happens to you? You steal. You take. What happens when you get in a relationship with somebody who's the best thing in the world? You know they'll never hurt you. They've told you 1,000 times it's not like any of the others. And then what happens? It was just like the others. When you get cancer and somebody leaves you and says, when you get better, I'll get back with you. When they lie about being pregnant for 10 months, just to find out it was all fucking bullshit. Everything they give you that you think is life, you get to suffer for. You get to be broken for. You get to be hurt because you're a good person that believes in humanity. Your reward for faith is destruction. How do you get through that? And what if you're the one of the people that's been doing it all along? Hi, I'm Keith Litman for Ear Shoulder Voice. Welcome to tonight's episode. Today's topic is I'm broken and you broke me. And for a lot of people, this rings extremely true. What do you do? And are you one of the people? We've got a few people in the chat here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow to Ear Shoulder Voice, as you can obviously follow all our shows, watch the live broadcast, and also engage us. Anything you say live during the broadcast, we will be happy to respond to. No opinion is off, no judgments, no nothing. Whatever you want to talk about, we're here for you anytime, as well as the show. And you can also join the show simply by going to earshouldervoice.com/join. But if you just hear me talk about my woes, which I could go on for hours and hours and probably even days, well, you get pretty bored and you'd eventually tune out. So let's bring on our panel, because we need them. All right. Well, before I actually bring in this first panelist, I want to get to one of these comments. We have Elizabeth here. She says, crazy that title is something I'm going through at the moment. Husband has cheated and left me yet again. I'm absolutely destroyed and a broken person. And Liz, I find this really odd because we scheduled this video actually last week, and I saw your post about that midway during the week, and I was going to reach out, but I honestly... about the show and talk to you, but I thought you were going through enough because I see how everybody was, and not everybody wants to talk about things right away. I'm very glad you're here because it is crazy. And if you want to join us on the panel, feel free as well, like you did before, and we will talk to you through it because a lot of us have been through this, and we definitely care about what you have to say. Let me bring in our first panelist. Please welcome back Nikki. Nikki, how's it going?
Good, Keith. How are you?
Oh, I'm here. I'm doing it. I'm doing good. I'm doing fine. I'm surviving somehow, some way, and I don't know how that works. So we talk about being broken. We talk about people being broken. Are you one of those people?
I mean, I've been there. Yeah, I've been broken probably too many times. And I'm the one that's always been broken, and I trust and believe and, forgive and forget and move on. And it just
I have a feeling that that's going to be a lot of our panel tonight because that's one of the things that drew us together as a panel.
Yeah.
To begin with, it you really do. You put your heart into everything. You trust everybody, and somebody can wrong you. And don't get me wrong, it's our fault too because they can
Yeah.
wrong you 10 fucking times in a row, and we believe that 11th one's going to be different. We constantly see the good over the bad.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. We're going to talk more about that shortly. Please welcome our next panelist, the Escalator, Bill the Escalator. How you doing? Well, you know,
I
Escalator
changed
is a
it up once in a while.
good name. It's a good name because we're talking about when you get down and when you get broken. Escalator, well, that just takes you right back up. So hopefully you're going to do that for us tonight. So, Bill, through everything you've been through, I know you've broken people. We've talked about that before, but the question is, have you
I've been
been
both.
broken yourself?
I have been both, yes.
And any quick
Yeah, no,
example you
it's-
want to share, we'll talk about more later.
All my friends walked away from me when I befriended somebody else.
And we have talked about that briefly before. I actually look forward to going into more detail
Yes.
about that. All right, well, let's bring our final panelist. Please welcome back, who's becoming a very fast staple here at Ear Shoulder Voice, Jane. Oh, no, that's got to switch. There we go.
Whoa.
All right, there we go, Jane.
no,
How
it's
you
gotta
doing?
switch.
I like to top.
Good to know. It's good to
And
know.
that's why I like you.
I don't even know what that means.
How you doing tonight?
Um,
Hey, look, Bill, you're getting your show.
Yeah, there it is.
how am I doing? I'm admittedly I'm very tired. It's been a very long day. It's been weirdly enough, ironically enough, I would say that today is the beginning of a different chapter in my life of trying to recover from things that have been breaking me down a lot. And you know, I'm very much looking forward to being on this show with you guys today.
Well, we're definitely glad to have you here because you make a huge difference, Jane.
Uh-huh.
And it's very appreciative that you're willing to come on. Gabe is
Aw,
here,
Gabe.
also says he's currently going through a long stretch of self-loathing. I'm good when I have a task ahead of me, like work or family, but struggling most time when I'm idle. And Gabe, that's really what it boils down to for a lot of us, I believe. That's why we're always looking for something to do.
An idle mind is the devil's playground. I've learned that. When I was away from the show, that's it was the devil was
Well, when the worst thing you can do, and it goes not just for our topic about being broken, but depression or anything like that in general, is let your mind do its thing.
yeah.
Because when your mind does its thing, your mind is creative as fuck. It can create any kind of situation or scenario, and it will create every one of them. The problem is it focuses on the worst ones.
Yeah. And the problem is too, we can also manifest what we're stressing about. So even if it's not necessarily happening at that time, us continually thinking about it creates it. And I've done that. I have personally sabotaged myself, by doing that.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Elizabeth's comment where she talks about the title. She says she's going through a moment. Her husband has cheated and left me yet again. I don't know if anybody can relate to that topic right now, but she says she's an absolutely destroyed and broken person. Do we have any words from her at the time? Because she says yet again. And the first thing that everybody says is your fault. You went back to them. But that's
No.
not always the right choice.
No, it's not your fault, Liz. And I sympathize with your situation because I have been there. I've been there far too many times. I've been there, with the same person 2-3 times, forgiving, taking back, accepting, being okay, moving past it. It will completely destroy your insides. But when you can come to a place and realize it's him, not you, then you'll be able to start moving beyond it.
That is definitely true to realize that it's not you. But at the same time, the only way to do that is to become somebody other than you.
Yeah.
And that's what it means to get broken, because the last thing we can do is take away our natural instinct of love and trust. Some people out there, I don't think people always understand that a lot of people that do nice things and go out there, or they spend money on people, or they do all this, and some people say they're vying for attention. Some people say they're trying to buy their friends. Some people, they'll say a lot of different things, but they'll never think about the fact that maybe, just maybe, mama raised them right. Maybe they really feel for you and they realize that money is tangible and can be replaced. They realize if you want something and can't afford it, you deserve it because you're a good person inside. They see the best of you and you try to pick the worst of them. And that's just what starts to crack the shells, nonetheless breaking them. So, Bill, why don't you go? You respond to that, or go ahead into one of your stories that you've
Well,
had to deal with.
sometimes when you take someone back, it has to do for a reason, like a child.
Yep.
And then at that point in time, whenever you no longer can trust that person that you're with, you have to think about, okay, is this better for the child or not? Or is it better for me? Or is it better for them or whatever? And you have to pick and choose. I walked away.
Hmm.
I walked away because I knew that what my daughter's mother was doing and seeing us argue and fight and stuff like that, it would end up hurting her more than me not being there.
Hmm. One thing I can say I learned about taking somebody back is once that trust is broken, even if you like find resolve within yourself and say, okay, let's do this, I've done it for children, that trust is still out the window. And to be able to start from scratch in a relationship where that trust is destroyed, it's always in the back of your mind, whether you want it to be
Yeah, it doesn't
or
go
not.
away. It
Yeah.
does not go away in the least because you've already gone through the steps and
Yeah.
you've been hurt. So anytime you're feeling happy, what happens is you remember you were happy before.
Yeah.
Anytime you feel 100% trusting, you realize I was that way before.
Hmm.
What about you, Jane? Any response to this? 'Cause I want to hit on some more things Nikki said in a moment.
Yeah, like so I've not been married. So I can't really relate in the idea of it being a kind of connection in that sort of
You're
sense.
lucky.
Well, for me, something that I really saw a lot when I was younger was a lot of that happening to my mom, and especially when you're like a kid, you don't really think about exactly the kind of choices that people make, right, when they get together, or you don't understand what that means. You can't,
Hmm.
um, and so for me, I remember I was. I could be a monster. I was, but not in any kind of way to always try to put my mom down, but just because I hated to see how people would treat her. I hated seeing that, and especially because my mom has always been such a giving person, so giving. I even I as her child, I don't think deserves that kind of thing. Like she's just that nice. Um, so I don't very know how much it is to be inside, but being outside and learning and reflecting, I feel for you. I might not be able to empathize, but I support that it's not right. It's not right, and you don't deserve to kind of have that pain, especially because you saw something that you needed, like that you felt and that you wanted and was there. Um, I'm sorry, and I hope tonight can be both cathartic and something that can put some form of peace on it, at least for tonight.
Mm.
Well, I'm sure it's not going to really. I don't think there's ever going to be a piece to it as far as people who've been broken are
Right.
concerned. But there is something to say. I think the biggest thing to take away from this show, hopefully tonight, is to realize what people do and how they do it that leads them to this tragic situation. Because a lot of times for people who are quote unquote broken inside, and what actually brought up this topic was, of course, me personally. Every once in a while, I have one that I'm like, yeah, this is a good thing to talk about, and this was it. Is you look back on who you are now and realize that frog in boiling water syndrome,
Hmm.
that how far you let it go. And I look back to, like, I would say somebody comes up to me, no place to live, live with me. Met you for the first day. I don't care. I've got you. Got you. Yes, you can get hurt doing it that way, but I've also said it to great friends who I've known for years, who you think you could trust. And now every single time that situation comes up, do I still do it? Am I still a fucking idiot for doing it? Absolutely. But all that's in my head is, how are you going to fuck me over?
Yeah.
How are you going to hurt me?
Hmm.
You wait for it to happen.
Yeah, you literally end up waiting and you're afraid.
Hmm.
When I
Walking on
get,
eggshells.
yes, when I get in a relationship now or anything like that, I'm terrified of them. I won't get in a relationship anymore.
Hmm.
I used to give everybody a fair shot. I used to always be like, hey, you're a good I see what's inside you. And then I know, or at least I believe now, deep in my head, you were going to crush me. and I believe that you're trying to figure out how to do it the whole time.
Yeah.
To the point that I don't trust you either.
Mm-hmm.
You lend somebody money, you don't lend with the intention of giving it back anymore. No matter
Mm-hmm.
what they say, who they are, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
People tell you they need something or they're not going to steal from you. And the minute somebody says they're not going to do something to you, you're almost 100% guaranteed they are.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's why I think with broken people, they can't necessarily be fixed, but maybe they can make the world better. Because as much as we bitch that, oh, we're broken, and I do feel I'm broken, I'm not near the person I was. Everybody had a shot. People would come to my house, every single person, for a safety net and have a good time regardless of anything. And almost every one of those motherfuckers took advantage of the situation. The best friends that I grew up with, that I went to school with, that I have spent thousands and thousands of dollars to make sure they didn't lose stuff, cars, houses, that they had things, that they ate, that there was food on the table, will treat me like a bag of trash and not think twice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they are doing it intentionally?
Sometimes I wonder, like like in my mind, yes, they are. Like it's a purposeful thing. Like they know they could take advantage of my kindness, and they are purposely, seeing how far they can push that envelope.
Yes. And that's really it is. But I think there are some people that don't realize they're doing it. One of the things we've talked about before, like growing up and bullying and stuff and going through school, that sometimes you can be the bully and you don't know it. That you're just doing things the way you were taught, the way your family was. And let's face it, I consider myself a great person, and a really nice person, because of, like you were saying, Jane, my mother. My mother taught me those values, taught me that everybody deserves a chance, everybody deserves to be equal in a sense, everybody deserves happiness. Nikki deserves to be unfrozen right now. We all deserve something.
I was just about to say that. And,
I didn't even notice. Like that was wow.
she's frozen.
Does anybody here think they've ever been responsible for contributing toward the breakage of a person?
Oh,
Yes, I
thank you,
hacked.
Keith. Of course, I have.
So how if you're willing, either one of you, to give an example of that?
I hacked Nikki's webcam just now.
Okay. Well, I can't even remove you now because I gave you control from hosting the show. Damn it!
I'm sorry.
I was like,
I mean, if you want to go first, King, I feel like
Go
you
ahead,
might
King.
have some more to say. More.
well, he's been responsible, as he said. So tell me about that.
Well, when I was young, I dated, screwed, and lived with a lot of women. And a whole lot of the time, women fall in love sometimes, and they fall in love, and they would bug me to the point of when we get married, when we get married, when we get married. And I would give them an engagement ring with no intention of ever marrying a girl, just hoping that she would shut up. And then when we finally broke up and gone, and I know I broke them and I know it bothered them because I've had so many of them come back into my life after the fact. Some of them yelling at me and calling me everything in the world and calling me the biggest piece of shit there is, or some of them wanting to get back in my life. So,
Well, it's something we often do. Hold on. So we got Nikki back. Welcome back, Nikki. Let's get everybody back in place. There we go. How you doing? You look better like that when you're moving and stuff. It's like
I'm
all
not
in
sure if it's
motion
better.
for us.
I'm not sure if it's better Keith wants you on top or Keith wants me under him. So I don't know. So
I know what's better for me.
You never know.
I mean, come on. I can make a sandwich out of you two.
Little menage a trois.
Oh wait, wrong show. But no, going back.
we
Age
can
of
switch it
Count.
right now.
We're not switching. We are
We're
not
21
switching this
minutes
show
in.
up. We're not switching this one up. And then, but we were talking, Nikki, and I had asked them as well, and Bill gave an example of: do you ever think you've been responsible towards the breakage of another person without realizing it? That you've seen, And Bill says he was a lot of times with his relationships, and one particular that he was referring to, with pretty much proposing, if I got this correct, proposing to shut them up, and then pretty
I would throw a ring at him. I would
Yeah.
honestly throw a ring at him and say, okay, we're engaged.
Mm.
But I had no intentions of marrying them. And it was in all those times that it was girls that were living with me. And like I said, I had no intention. And I mean, that was back, like I said, it was whenever I was young for a long time.
And I'll give you a moment to think about that, Nikki, before we get back to it, because I want to ask you the same question. But Gabe's here says the best indicator is always when it's just you two together. Many relationships settle in marriage or partnerships because of their time invested in the fear of losing out and having to begin again, or children, financial commitments, etc. That's a long-ass sentence there, Gabe. But many spend so much time embroiled in those duties that they lose sight of their partner and became a roommate long ago. Oh my fucking God, nailed that one. But in those moments, when you can get away together, you can always see if it's still there.
Yeah.
And that can make or break any relationship at that point, when you get away to see if it's still there, because sometimes it requires work again.
Yeah.
You know, it may seem like it's not there, and no, you just got to work up towards it.
Yeah.
I'll go to Nikki for both thoughts on this comment, as well as if you've ever been responsible for, you think, breaking somebody.
Well, first things first, quite possibly. I mean, I was a very broken person for many years. I was never one to be settled or content with being alone. So I literally found myself going from one horrible situation, jumping right into another one that was equally horrible. And all those traumas from the first one carried over with me, and you go into that fight or flight mode, and I was constantly in fight mode, trying to fight for my respect or whatever it was that I had lost previously, self-confidence, I mean, you name it. And I'm sure I was, in arguments, some people say things, that can hurt, words can really cut to the core. And I was that person. I've said some mean things to people, and one person is no longer, around, so I can't even take it back. So yeah. As far as Gabe, what he had to say is, I mean, he hit the nail on the head. I can say a marriage, a relationship, it all takes a whole lot of work to maintain and be able to continue to grow with each other. And it's easy for things to get really stale when it just becomes kind of like a habit, and you just kind of go with, what you're used to, and every day is the same thing over and over, and you're not putting effort into the relationship. You're just kind of, going with the motions of life, and you forget that you got to put some work into the relationship. And me and Greg have had many low points where we struggled, where we wondered if we were going to make it work. And when we realized that sometime last year, we realized, okay, we really both need to put some effort into this, or it's just going to crumble. Until we did that, it was on a downward nosedive. Now we've gotten a lot better, but it takes work.
One of the things I used to tell my brother, and I still kind of think it of him, and it's not about his personal current situation or anything he's been in, is he's one of those people that I've always seen as somebody who can't be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they will latch onto the first person they can. And
That's me.
in a sense, that's also the sign of a broken person.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, because of what's happened to them in the past, that they need somebody there, and when they've been alone, whether it's good decisions, bad decisions, what people did to cause that. But often I think that that's unfair to the person you're being with, who does not need to be with somebody, but they see the attention you're giving.
Right.
And that makes them feel good. And that's what I think can sometimes break that person down. And that's another version of somebody who, and I'm not accusing my brother of this, just an example of somebody who needs to be with somebody. And that can break them down. because you're not with them for the same reasons. You're not with them because the qualities you saw, you ended up loving, you ended up feeling. You're with them because, oh, this person will take me. I won't be alone. Cool, let's do this.
Yep.
And again, not personally towards him, because there are other people in that situation, but there's some people, a lot of things people do. Jane, your comments on all this?
Comments upon like this current here, or
Well,
or
we've
my...
been talking for about 25 minutes now, so pick anything. I was like,
Well, I guess I don't know. For me, I think something that I can really tie with that was when I was a kid, when I was young. I felt as though that something that was really important was finding that like love for someone, you know, having a relationship with someone, and that was something that was it was like it was doomed from the start because I expected so much more than what I could really say I should. So it was one of those situations where I was growing up in a household that wasn't really well connected, and for me it was trying to find that kind of like ability to find that replacement, that companionship, you know. And that was something that I did ever since I was like in 6th grade, like with girls in elementary school and middle school. It was always that I was in a relationship of some sort, and it was always something that would end so shortly. But it was really just because I couldn't handle the fact that there was nowhere else I could think of to find that kind of love and that nurture for a while. And it was something that I never really came much to terms with until I was finally about 18, when I had noticed that this was an issue that had been weighing over me for so long, and it has left me in a kind of reflection of my past, of how I really spent my time wanting something that I didn't even understand what it was I was looking for. And it caused issues. It caused issues for me at a young age, with the kind of relationships that I was able to build, the kind of people I was able to trust, and the kind of people that were willing to trust me, you know. And it was a difficult time, and sometimes I get worried that I'll fall into that kind of situation again. And I
well,
feel like, well, yeah,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
well, because sometimes I feel as though that I did for a while, after this pandemic, that I was trying to make things work in places that just it wouldn't. And and I started this year really really asleep because of that. Not really.
Well, pandemic definitely did that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It brought out some of the inner things, in our inner demons, but often it was stuff we didn't even know we were fighting.
Yeah.
When we didn't know how much we were, because we get a taste of something really dark, you see the things that were gray too. You know. Now, girl, I gotta tell you, girl, you've got a long time ahead of you, though, and
I know.
and I don't mean this to demean in any way, because all this, for me at least, started when I was a very young kid. I mean, I literally lived that life of I love you. I don't care who you are. That was my life. There's no such thing as hate. But now is the time to do it, because just from experience of being ancient as I am, I mean, not as ancient as Bill, but ancient still. Ancient. It doesn't get better if you don't try to grasp it and see what the situation is around it. One of the worst things I do is I blame the person when they hurt me. You know, and I think that it's a moment, there's a reason, and they are better, and not everybody is like them in any way, and everybody gets the equal chance. And it's one of the worst things you can do. Because you start to realize, if I would have looked at a lot of signs prior, I would have realized there's a lot of people like that. There are a lot of people that don't belong, and you know what? They're living their fucking lives. They're having a great time. They're using the next person. They don't give a rat shit about you.
Right.
And you're suffering because of it.
Yep.
It's something that is one of the hardest things for people in our, I don't know, our soul type to do, you know, is to eliminate these people. But you have to, and you have to see it soon, because I look at these people and I'm like, you have fucking destroyed me. But you're out living a happy way, just destroying another person. You don't give a shit. Why did I ever put my heart and love into you?
Mm-hmm.
And it's one thing I think you definitely need to look at before it gets worse and realize that. And I know we talked just briefly the other day, and you had mentioned something about just figuring things out in life. And I think it's a good time to do something like that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been the way how my 2021 ended was in a way that I was it is only 32 minutes in. No, it was something that was very I don't even know how to put it into words. It was really bad. It was really bad, and I wasn't okay. I led a lot to to vices, and it was a really difficult December, to say the least. But I told myself I could not let this be forever, and yeah, and January was the worst I think it had gotten, and New Year's I was blackout for the first time, which I had never experienced, which I guess would be weird for me because I'm a college kid, but it was,
I never
and
blacked out. You're fine. And I drank.
but it was like one of those situations where I had to try to figure out what I did wrong, and not so much what the person did wrong, because those around me really did love me, and
That in just a second.
yeah, they really did love me, and the people that I have around me now, they do really love me, and sometimes I'm very blinded to when it's actually real now, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's this year, I think is one that really matters, because I think it's a kind of rise moment, the way how
Mhm.
things have been after 2 years of isolation,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, being stuck in that kind of like self-reflection for so
Mm-hmm.
long.
Mm-hmm.
I
Uh,
want to get to the comment. I want to get to
yeah.
Elizabeth for a minute because she's
Oh,
going through so much.
Yep.
Jay.
And
Mm.
I'm
those
good.
that don't
I'm
know,
good.
this like she said, this is very recent. I actually grew up with Elizabeth. I haven't seen her in probably 20 years, I would say,
Oh,
Liz. So but I've still known her. We're still friends on Facebook. We don't talk as much as we probably should because that's what happens. But as she says, yeah, she was together for 12 years. She was also on our drug addiction show. So
Mm-hmm.
he has had a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of issues. He's not happy with himself. So he's cheated and left me for another woman. A woman who straight up told him she was using him for his money. He was supposed to be going to visit his father, and she got him so drunk the first time they had sex, and she took advantage of him. That was out of her mouth. And he just kept going back over there. But now he's living there, and today he made his decision 100%. I don't know what the rest is. I cut it off the rest of your statement. And here's where it is. And guys, in a sense, and I'm not going to just put this on guys because women can be just as bad. Guys are stupid when it comes to that a lot of times. Because a guy, especially after they hit 30, they start to feel old and they want to feel young. So they don't care if they got money and they're using money for anything like that, and to get that feeling of being with somebody young or somebody different, they're going to keep doing it. And they don't really care because they confuse, biggest of all, love with sex. And sex with just the companionship of being there and the reason somebody's with them. Oh my God, are you okay there, Jane?
yeah, I'm good.
Uh,
I'm good. Is it that noticeable? Is it that bad?
no, it's fine. I just want to make sure you're okay. So, do you want to respond to this, Jane? Is that one of it?
I, it's just like something that's so scary about that. Um, the is the kind of as how truth it is, and um, something that makes me worried is I've seen situations like this, before in my life. I've had those kind of people, and the fact that it happens, you know, sometimes people start that at such a young age, being in both of those positions, and I think that that's like, well, don't put.
It's easier to see you over the comment. That's why.
Oh, I see. Well, I
Keep
guess
going.
in short, yeah.
We're just brought Bill up. Actually,
I think that that's from his end, it seems like a real big sign of fear. It seems like a real big sign of fear of acceptance. And the thing is that it whether he knows it or not, it's causing much more effect outwards than it probably is with him inward as well.
Mhm.
And but
Mhm.
even with that, it doesn't make it right. 12 years, and the kind of the kind of tests, those kind of bumps, those kind of things that people usually tell you, like, come with relationships, right? Everyone has these speed bumps, everyone has these issues, we always rebuild, and sometimes people don't really understand the kind of level of what that means, and
Mhm.
at least it sounds like in his case he didn't. And all that really does is it's going to hurt you so much. But what makes it so fucked up sometimes is you're hurting so much, and you're hurting so much because you know that they might be feeling bad, and you're not even thinking about how you're going through it until it's all
Mhm.
gone, until it's like this, where you don't feel like you're a human.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's kind of how things were for a couple of months for me too, with things going on. It was a total dissociative, like, coma, but you're
Mhm.
still around, and you become so numb. And I'm
Mhm.
sorry about that, Elizabeth.
I want
I
to,
really am.
if I can, I want to hit on her comment again. There's a few things
Mm,
she said that I think is one of the problems people deal with in these situations.
mm,
A lot of childhood trauma and a lot of issues. Let's start with this line, and I'm just going to point it out. We were together for 12 years. Good line. He has a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of issues. This is defense for him. He's not happy with himself, so he cheated. Defense for him and left me for another woman. A woman who straight up told him she was using him. Again, he's the victim. He was supposed to be going to visit his father, and she got him so drunk they had sex, and she took advantage of him. Again, he's the victim. That was out of her mouth, and he just kept going back over there. But now he's living there today, and he made his decision. Again, it's about him.
Mhm.
This is the biggest problem people like us have, Elizabeth. And I know from growing up with you that you were one of the kindest, most giving people I knew out of the entire friend group. Like, you really were. And more than anybody, more than your best friends, and we know who you're talking, you know who I'm talking about and stuff. You were the most kind and giving person who really just saw the best. You were like a little female version of me in a way. You always tried to see the best in people and do what you could. But so much in that paragraph is sticking up for him,
Mhm.
even though you
Making
don't
excuses.
realize it.
Yep.
Because if you go back, a lot of childhood trauma. You've been through shit, I've been through, we all have. This is his adult trauma. He doesn't. You don't deserve that. It's about you. He's not happy with himself. That's his fucking problem. Because of the thing that makes a marriage is being happy with the person you're with.
Mhm.
You. It's
Mhm.
about you.
Mhm.
Using him for his money, he let that happen. He's not a victim. He chose to do that. And that's the same thing I say when people use me for my money or anything like that. It's their fucking fault. And it's my fault too for letting it happen, even
Mhm.
though I'm going to do it.
Yes. Yes.
And it's not fair to us, but we do let it happen.
Mhm.
She got him drunk the first time they had sex and she took advantage of him. Why was he there to get drunk
Yep.
and have sex?
Yep.
He should have been with you to get drunk and have sex. It's you. And he kept going back over there. His choice, not victim. And he made his decision. He did without your concern. This is where we all fuck ourselves over. 100% you are the victim. You've been hurt. And you are the one going through the pain. You say right there, he's living there today, and he made his decision. His life is continuing, and you're suffering to pick up the pieces. You do
Mhm.
not deserve that because you were the one who didn't break the vows of marriage. You didn't break the rules of friendship. And you didn't break the connection of love. He did. You need better. You deserve better. And it fucking sucks that he's such a goddamn prick to do that to you. But do you really want to be a prick for your next 40 with a prick for your next 40 years?
Right.
Because you're not even halfway done with your life.
Mhm.
You can do with something else. You can do it better. This is going to be a bump and it's going to be a hard fucking bump to get through. But the good thing is, once you get over that bump, it is in the past and it's a smooth road ahead, hopefully. And
Mhm.
if not,
Mhm.
you're still going to get through it, but that bump will never come to haunt you.
Right.
You need to stop giving excuses for people because you're such a good person. And that's why you do it. That's my piece on that. Anybody else want to continue to comment on that?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. Exactly. It was his choices. And if I'm not mistaken, aren't they both, and maybe she can correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't they both like recovering?
Yes.
So
They were
he
both
made
on
the
the show.
choice. Yeah. So he made the choice to drink knowing he has a dependency issue. So, it's a shame. It is a horrible shame. Especially, I know that they have been through some serious trials and tribulations together. And then, for 12 years to come ahead to this. And she said that he cheated again. So this is not the first time that he's done this. And sadly, she forgave him and let him come back. And he, for him to do it again, just maybe Liz needs to come back to Michigan.
There's probably conversation of that going on. I was like, I'm just saying on there. She does, but you know what? You need to find your ground for yourself.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring this up badly because you were so open with us on the addiction show that we did, Liz. You were very, very open with us. And one of the things with relationships, especially when both of them have addiction habits, is it clouds the reason of being with somebody. And with addiction, if you are beating it, sometimes there's a resentment towards the other person that you're not who you want to be or doing what you want because of it.
Yep.
And that's when true things come out. I don't remember when you said how long you guys have been at the time that you were following the addiction, whether it's before you were married or after or around the same time. But sometimes it's a basis for a marriage that isn't a good one, and you start to see reality when you give it up.
Right.
Like if you would have met, and I don't know your situation as far as meeting him, but if you'd have met them sober, never having a problem, it might have been a person you never even got that connection with. Because no matter who you are, you spend enough time with somebody, you're kind of going to start to fall for them.
Yeah.
Because you learn so much about them. Bill, you've been awfully quiet, and I'm sure you've got things to comment on this too, so please feel free.
Well, you were saying something earlier about, you lend someone money and you should never expect it to come back to you anymore nowadays. And something kind of will refer to this, and like I said, if you can read into it, is many, many years ago, I was at Hayes Park Racetrack with an older Italian gentleman sitting in the clubhouse, and there was a guy down on the racetrack that I had lent money to. And I saw him, and I went running down after him, and I chased him through the racetrack and everything like that. I couldn't catch him. He got away. And I came back up to the clubhouse, and the man was sitting there, and he says, he told me, he goes, what are you doing? I said, well, the guy owes me $50. I said, he's been avoiding me for months and months and months. And the man sat there and told me, he goes, it cost you $50 to get a piece of shit out of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Leave
Yep.
it alone.
Yep.
That is...
And it works that way in part of this with what we're saying, I think, because of the fact that if someone's treating you bad and you start feeling like you're guilty of what you did or whatever and stuff like that, you should just get them the hell out of your life.
Yeah, but it's so much easier said than done when you are the person in that situation.
Especially
I've been there.
when-
I mean, my daughter's mother cheated on me back and forth, up and down, everything like that. And all I thought about was my daughter not having her dad in her life.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I was stupid enough. I went back twice. And then the second time went back, she had another kid. And the kid wasn't mine, but I'm paying child support on that kid.
Mm.
You have to sit and judge. And it's not just stuff like that. You can be broken by so many different things in life. I was broken by my brother and my sister living in my mother's house after my father passed and not taking care of my mom.
Yeah, this is definitely not strictly based on relationship breakage. Because there's
They did not.
Most of mine
They
is
sat
not
here and lived with my
relationship
mom and sucked the life out of her and the money out of her. It did nothing for her. And I was over there. My daughter had just been born after my dad died and trying to be with my daughter. And they had to come over here during the day because I was working at night, come over here during the day and help my mom out because they were sleeping all day because they were out drinking all night.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Gabe says sometimes people stay because they'd rather be miserable than alone.
Because misery loves company.
Which is actually that's very true. What you said as well as what he said on there is, but it's the wrong reason because first of all, if they're going to be miserable, that is being broken.
Yeah.
That is destroying the person that they were on there.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, it's true.
Yeah.
But one of the things that was mentioned by Bill, and I want to mention this to Elizabeth as well, and even with Gabe and his comment there, that when you break up with somebody and they start to tell you things, or they've cheated on you, or anything like that, and they tell you things to basically try to apologize or make you feel better. And when you're the person who is the victim, Liz, especially, when you're the person victim, it is easy for you to say, I remember who this was. I love this person. That's the person I want. I want that person back. Please let me have them back. That's all I want. It's, well, I'm willing to forgive and forget. Just please let me have that back. But what we don't realize is that low life monkey eating piece of shit, in his head goes, I know what to say. I know how to manipulate you. I know the words to say to get you to take me back. Because I know your heart and I can take advantage of it. And that's what we forget. We're so busy thinking, oh, that's the person I want, that they're not saying it most of the time. They're not saying, especially multiple times, like Elizabeth said. They're not doing it because they're really sorry and sympathetic. You repeatedly do it, you're already not sorry. You do it once, you go home, you tell your wife what happened, or husband if it has to be the other way around. You talk through it, you argue, you decide to get through it and continue. That's an apology, that is a bump in your marriage, and there is nothing wrong with trying to make that work. Somebody does something repeatedly, the mistake happened after the first time. It was no longer a mistake. It is now habit, it is something you want, it is not something you're sorry for, because when you're sorry for something, you what? You don't do it again.
Right.
The minute you do, your apology never meant anything.
Right.
And I'm not saying this should apply to the person you were with, Elizabeth, necessarily, because you've obviously been through this before, but for the future. Don't take these signs, don't take people back. I mean, I had a rule growing up, and I still keep that rule today. You get one chance with me. No matter what, you fuck it up, you're done. I broke that rule 2 times. Both times I knew better because it ended up the same way I thought it would. The reason I don't get second chances. Because if you're gonna do it again, it's the person you are, you're not sorry. And I, Nikki, Jane, Bill, Elizabeth, Gabe, well, Gabe, your marriage is great. But I was like, but we deserve better. There's one thing to help people out, but there's another thing to help yourself. To give you the stuff you desire, to give you the stuff you need. Because these people take advantage of you. They hurt you. And again, like I said earlier, it doesn't fucking affect them. It's routine. You're one of 100. So what else we got on this? Go ahead, anybody, because I just talk a lot, you know. I'm very passionate, particularly about this topic. So I'm trying not to be.
Me too. And I think it's because I've been through it so many times. And so many times I've said, oh, it's okay. You know, well, it'll get better. But one thing I can say is that one time that I said, okay, enough is enough. I deserve so much more. My children deserve so much more. And I walked away and I became a very independent person and learned how to survive on my own 2 feet for myself without relying on somebody else. In that moment was the most liberating and humbling experience that brought me to the better place I'm at, because I was at a really horrible place at that time. And had I not, stepped back and taken a chance to realize that I needed to do this for myself and not rely on a man or rely on a relationship to be happy, the second that I did that, like a whole nother life opened. Like all these doors opened for me. And it sucks. It's a rough road, especially when it's so fresh, when that wound is so fresh and you're still trying to process things. At some point, I can't tell you if it's a week, a month. I can't tell you how long it will be before you feel okay again. But at some point, you'll look back at it and realize that you're stronger because you stood your ground and you found your happiness. So stand your ground, Liz, and find your happiness. You do not deserve to be treated like you're less than, no matter
I
what
mean,
his issues are.
look at it this way, Liz. You were together for 12 years. You gave it your fucking shot.
Yeah.
You gave it your all. You did what you could do. You made it. So if anybody deserves to be praised, it's you.
Yeah.
Condemnation goes to him.
Yeah.
All right, because you did try, because that's the kind of person you are, and I tried too. Some of us, however, we don't always have the same luxury as just a relationship either. Is we get broken. I was one of the people who pretty much grew up thinking everything's tenfold. If I'm nice to everybody, I held on to that pretty strong. If I was nice to people, it was all going to come back just perfectly tenfold. I'm going to get happiness and get what I want. No, it doesn't work that way. And now I'm old. Now I'm a creepy old man, pretty much. It's the last thing I want to be, but that's what I feel like now. Nothing's coming back because the thoughts I had about people then, they're not pure anymore. I still have those thoughts, but they're clouded. It's still, how are you going to? I won't get a relationship. I had a woman talking to me that I really liked at the bar the other night, and another woman that I'm talking to that I really like. And both of them are in the same situation. I'm not going to do shit about it. Because all I'm thinking is you're going to fucking hurt me, and I am punishing myself for that.
Don't
And
want to
I'm
take the
saying
chance.
this, yeah. And I'm saying this so people understand what people are going through. You know, it's not as easy, as much as we're saying it even to Liz, it's not as easy to do what we say, and we totally get that.
Yeah.
But what we need is someone to prove us wrong.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you can't prove us wrong quickly because we've seen that quick path before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's manipulation and it's build up.
Mm-hmm.
I need somebody to say, I'm here for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and accept that, hey, you've been through stuff. Hey, I understand it. I don't trust anybody. I've got like another friend I grew up who lives with me right now with his kids. And I still think in the deep, dark recesses of my head, even though it's one of my best friends, he's going to fuck me over. Not because of anything he ever did, because it's what everyone else has done.
Yeah.
And these people don't realize how much they do it. You cannot take a perfectly beating good heart and keep pounding it with a hammer and expect it to still work.
Right.
It's
Not
going to get
properly.
destroyed. Not properly. It's still going to try because God knows it wants to be.
Right.
It wants to be there, but it isn't going to work properly. You nailed it. Jane looks pretty in-depth looking over there. I don't know if she's got something to say or what, but it's like a straight-faced. Either
She's
that or
muted.
I know
Oh.
she is.
Hey.
Oh, there she is.
I'm here. I'm just listening. I'm just listening for right now.
I know that you probably, Jane, you probably can't relate as far as we do, but believe me, I'm sure you're going through things, as you
Yeah.
already expressed earlier.
Yeah.
And the thing is you've got that advantage, and it's not an advantage because it hurts, but it's still an advantage of nipping it early,
Yeah.
of figuring it out early. And
Yeah.
that, for a lot of people watching, I think knowing that and knowing what you think you could do or what we think you could do is going to help them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I you guys can hear me okay, right?
Oh yeah.
Because my mic was okay. I just wanted to make sure there was some technical things on my end for a second. But no, I think something that's really important that a lot of people forget, and maybe this is an overtly optimistic thing for me, maybe because I'm young, maybe because of how things have been, I don't know. But I think something that's very important that people forget is that nothing and here's the problem with it too, right? And I think this is a problem that I suffer with, is that we always forget how finite things are
Mm-hmm.
in everything. And I think one of those things, it comes from that patience. I think, Keith, you said it best. Like, I think some people do believe that you can just take a hammer and whack something as hard as you want and still expect it to be whole, and still expect that heart to be whole, But I think sometimes it lands on the latter half too of sometimes I think people feel as though that there is a line that you really can't come back from. And again, it could be because of my age. Maybe I have a different view on it, but I feel as though everyone can come back. Man, like
Well, in fairness to that statement, I had that view. I know exactly where you're coming from with that because I had that view. But there comes a point for some people that when you hit a close enough to halfway point of your life, give or take, you start to realize how far downhill it is and how quickly it's going to happen. Because that buildup happens very slow, but the last half of your life starts to happen very fast. And it goes by a lot quicker.
You're right. This is true. You are absolutely right with that. But I maybe for me, something that I hope I carry the older I get, is the ability to find what lines do exist, what silver lines do exist. I know it can be sometimes a very fantastical way to look at things. I would say that usually I can be optimistic, but more than anything, I feel as though I can be a realist. I'm able to identify when things aren't working practically at times. Sometimes I have that issue with relationships, but usually with most things, and something that I feel as though, yeah, maybe a lot of people can't relate to this, but the ability to find what little things you can still make matter. I feel like I feel like you can find that in anything if you really do look, especially for me, because like I said, from January up until this past weekend, I was feeling that I was sleepwalking, and I know I talked about this a little bit a few times now, but it's true. It was a true point where reality did not. I didn't believe in it. Like, I felt like everything was going through some strange motion that I was just not meant to understand, and it is the most numb I have felt about anything. And I feel as though that's stinted a lot of who I am as a person. How new people have gotten to know me this past year as a person, and it's been really something else when to have this kind of like awakening, this ability to be back in my head. But I know some people aren't as fortunate to get it as I did, but I feel as though that everyone can, with the right, maybe not even the right mentality, just the hope to find more of the right things in life. Like
See, I'm glad you're here right now because what you're saying, well, I've been there. I've totally had that attitude. I've had that perspective. I thought almost 150%, if not even greater, about humanity. That that's how it should be, and I'm sure Nikki has too. And there's a disconnect in ages, which the reason I'm glad you're here to say these things is because something happens between these. And that's what people have to get down to, and that's what people have to start watching for and nailing down what it is. Because something took me from where you are to where I am. Something took Nikki the same route, and something took Bill the same route. Because we all had this thing where we totally believed in everybody. Jake Summers, Blackhearted. Oh, it's waiting to show it on screen though. Cool. It's black on the chat. Okay, I was like, hi Jake, how you doing? Good to see you on here.
Well,
So you said something. You said as far as reaching out and paying attention to the little things, nothing stops you from that. The thing about this show and about being broken doesn't mean that you don't still give, that you don't appreciate those little things. It's about you're broken, meaning you can't get yourself back to where you were. Because the big things are what mattered back then. I still am an asset to the world. Call it conceited or not, I am. Whether it be this show, whether it be the shows I produce when I go out to a bar, whether I make people feel a certain way, I'm an asset to their lives. I don't deny that one bit. What I'm broken with is I'm no longer the asset to my life.
Yeah, to yourself.
And that's what people have torn me down. When somebody uses somebody and somebody takes advantage of them so hard, whether it be a friendship, a relationship, or a stranger off the street, there's nobody I've ever met literally off a corner of a street doing drugs that I haven't tried to help and get where they're going. Yes, when something happens with that, well expected, but sometimes it works out. So I'm not necessarily saying those are what broke me. But it's because when they do that, they're not just affecting you. And that's what the people that break people think. They think, okay, well, I'll leave them. They'll be fine. They'll continue. They'll live on. They'll live on. No, because now you're affecting everybody around them.
Yeah.
Like I said, with my relationship status, based on the way women have treated me, and well, even some of the guys I've been with too, but there's been more women who have just hurt me beyond belief in every way, that it's not just affecting them and me. It's now affecting two women I'm very much interested in.
Yeah.
That as far as I'm concerned, it's just whatever. And a lot of me also goes, it's fucking bar talk. Nobody really cares. Because I meet them at a bar. That's what happens. That's where I work.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I'm like, they don't really fucking care about me. They care about the entertainment I provide. There's nothing there. I never thought that way before. The breaking and the brokenness and the pain is inside. It's not that you can't provide or have those little things. And I still smile when I see that crowd forgetting about their fucking fucked up lives and just having a good time and letting the past be gone for a little bit, enjoying the end of the week. That still makes me feel like the best person in the world. But now, the difference now is I feel like the best person in the world for providing them that moment and that time. But I don't feel like I'm ever going to have that moment. And that is the moment of breakage.
Two, though, I think like what Jay said, though, is because I have been there in that moment of completely broken. And somehow what brought me out of the hole was finding the silver lining to the situation or to something surrounding me or just something to make me feel that like positive energy again. Because when you're constantly like muting yourself with all this negativity, even if it's in your mind, because of being broken for so long, when you're constantly feeding your soul all that negativity, you can't help but feel bogged down. When you just kind of add in those little pieces of positivity, even if it's, oh, it's a sunny day, it could be the littlest of things, but those little positive things build and build and build till you finally are lifted out of this broken state of mind.
Right. And I and I know that this isn't easy for everyone. I know that it's a challenging type of thing, and I'm not
Mhm.
saying that it's something. I'm not saying that it's something readily attainable either, and I'm not saying that even then, in these moments, you don't go back to having those darker times, those darker moments.
I'm not disagreeing with anything you said, just so you
Right.
know, because
No,
I
no,
was just explaining the disconnect between the time frame that it happens. Like, we got to figure out where that is. Go ahead.
no, and I think that there's something to that too. I feel as though that there is something that happens when you get around your 30s, and I feel as though that like something that I have learned from people close to me. It's some great advice that I've taken for these past couple of years, and it is that idea of once you become 30, the ability for you to want to hear everything out won't be the same. You're going to have your beliefs, and you're going to stick by those, and I think that's something important. That's something with growing. You need to have your belief systems. You need to know what you stand for and why you stand for it. But I think that there's an issue in that, something maybe that we aren't even able to change or affect. That I think at those moments, more of the reality of the world comes in.
Mhm.
As time has gone on. I'm not speaking from experience, so I don't know how close this sounds, and if I
But you
if I
are.
sound
You're
ridiculous.
you're speaking with your own experience of what you've been through and what
Yeah.
you're believing in people.
Mm,
So you are, and the experience is good. And again, the other reason it's good to have you on the show right now, like I said, we've been there, but we don't always remember how refreshing that feeling was.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
no, and it's not even meant as a joke in any way, because that was a
no,
great feeling.
Yeah.
People confuse sometimes with being broken as admitting you're a loser or you're weak or something. And
mhm.
I'll tell you, or that you have nothing to contribute. Not far from the truth. I've got broken things around the house. I still use every fucking day. They still have their use. You know,
Duct tape does wonders.
right? Like, and that's where people sometimes get confused, and they think that you have a choice and
Gorilla
you're
glue.
looking down. Yeah,
No, well,
electrical
I
tape.
think I agree. Like everyone feels as though that. Well, I guess not everyone, but a lot of people feel as though that you're always able to find a way back in control,
Mm.
and I don't know.
What
It's
you
something where
said just now
Mhm.
is a very true statement, but it works on both sides.
Yeah.
it does.
Because always a way to get back in control is something a lot of people do that breaks the other person.
Yeah.
And it's by saying the right things. And that's where it's not a good argument necessarily to get people through this, but it's a great argument to understand what's going around. And if you know somebody along those lines that is using it to a negative advantage, those are the people to step away from.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to take the best friends you have and take a few steps back.
Yeah.
and say, I'm not going to be part of this anymore because it's damaging, hurting to me.
Right.
And I've done that, and I did it with a move, and it worked really good, but somehow I let some people back in. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing about me. I may be broken, and I 100% believe I am broken, and I hope that somebody comes along with a nice thing of Gorilla Glue or duct tape and can put me back together. But I'm still out there every day, and I'm still
Mhm.
helping every person I see, and I'm
Mhm.
still letting anybody live and having a holiday meal for every single person that wants to, and picking people up off the street and making people happy every minute I can inside a bar, and changing their lives moment by moment, and making sure I live for them. And the fact that I'm still doing that and I haven't put a bullet in my fucking brain makes me a very strong winner. So you may have broken me, but you did not destroy me.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what people have to know.
Yes.
You've wizened me up.
And I think a big thing too, when you get to a certain age, um, kind of like that halfway point, like we're talking like the 30s, you kind of realize you're not immortal, and life
That's
is
true.
just kind of clicking by, and you have to kind of come to a place. Do I want to continue down this path, or do I want to take a right hook? Not everybody is capable of that, though, and I think that's so important for us to speak on. Is while many of us can pull us out of pull ourselves out of that rut, not everybody is capable from a mental perspective. They're capable of it, but their mind is so broken that they won't allow themselves to get there. And sadly, um some people succumb to those struggles before they figure out how to come out of the hole.
I mean, I'm equally guilty, especially when it comes to mortality and age and stuff like that. I believe that it's too late. And I know deep down it isn't too late, but I can believe it's too late. But if you're 40 years old and you are going to live to 65, that's 25 years ahead of you. And hopefully everybody's going to live longer. But let's take when you start slowing down really big time, around 65. That's 25 years. And if you're 40, you've only had really about 19 years of being the adult and going out and doing things. So to think it's too late at these ages, you've got to rethink it. Because if you live for another 30, if you're
You know?
60, you still could have 30 plus years ahead of you. There's a lot that can change, and if you take the time you remember from being 21 to now, it wasn't that long ago, and there's actually a lot more years ahead than there can be. And number two, those years seem a lot less valuable when you're in pain and you're hurt than I would gladly give up 30 miserable years for 5 extremely valuable ones.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
So it's worth the change. Bill, I wanted to ask you about this before I get to another aspect. Since you are the oldest one on the panel, do you believe that the mortality, your thoughts of your own mortality, have a bigger effect? Has it for you?
My thoughts of, especially since what's happened to me lately, my thoughts of mortality are in my head all the time. It comes into you, and unfortunately, you get mad at your friends that aren't there anymore. I mean, like I said, I had some friends that still came and saw me even after I made my little gay woman my friend and stuff like that. But since I told them what was going on with me, I haven't seen them. But um, I want to go in a different direction. I'm going to tell you something. I've been thinking about it this whole time to talk about this or not, and what it did to a woman. Um, Many years back, I had a goddaughter, Courtney, little short woman, 5'6", all muscles, and I think when Keith may have saw one of her pictures when I had my old Facebook up, she used to dress up as She-Hulk
You should.
every Halloween, and we went to a bar the one night, and we were in there, and one of the guys that worked in the bar made a pass at her and actually grabbed her ass, and she got mad about it and stuff, and I bitched at them about it and everything, and I said, we're just going to leave, and I sent her on her way, and the there was 5 guys in the bar that were the size of Keith that beat the hell out of me, used me like a rag doll out in the parking lot, and nobody stopped it. And my goddaughter Courtney was with me after that, and she was gay. And she was with me after that while I was laid up for 9 months. And all she kept saying is like, I am so sorry, if I wasn't gay, this wouldn't happen. I said, that has nothing to do with anything. I said, no one touches you. Well, a little bit after that, she said, Uncle Bill, my girlfriend decided to move to New Jersey. Can you help me move there? I'm going to go after her. And I said, fine. And so I helped her to move to New Jersey. And I don't know, it was 2.5 months later or something like that, 2 months, 2.5 months later, and she called, Uncle Bill, can you come get me? She left me. And I get the U-Haul and go over there and pick her up and get all her stuff. And as we're driving back, she told me, she goes, I'm pregnant. I said, how are you pregnant? She goes, well, I was trying not to be gay anymore because of the fact that because I was gay, all those guys beat you up. And I'm not going to get through this without crying, so. But it killed me too. And then she had a miscarriage. And
I understand. It's the things we go through. It's all right, Bill. It's so many things. That's actually hard for me to talk right now too because of that. But that's what people do to each other. I mean, obviously this person felt so bad about their sexuality alone and the way she was treated that she tried to be somebody she wasn't to make life better for everybody else. And that's what a lot of us do. We put ourselves on the back burner because we don't think that we're important enough. We truly do believe the world around us is far more important than we are. And it's really, really hard. I'll give Bill a moment there for that. I'm going to bring up Gabe's comment really quick. This is like we have, I told you, Jane, some of our shows. I was like,
Oh, it's good.
They're tough.
Yeah.
Gabe says, I feel broken always. I'm smart enough to recognize the reasons for it. I always dwell unhealthily on my past decisions. I constantly look at life as a ticking clock and feel behind in where I want to be. Oh my God, nailed that one. And I'm in my head so much that I neglect to appreciate the things I do have. My lifelong struggle is listening to myself when I want to change these things. And I'll get your next comment in a moment. My God, this is something that people don't often understand. And again, basis for beginning this show to begin with, you're so not alone in that. Like, if I wrote something on this panel about this subject, it would probably be very almost verbatim to what you just said.
Yep.
And that's one thing that people don't realize when they're taking advantage of somebody, because people look at people like us who, really strive to make everything better for everybody else. They say, what an easy target.
Yeah.
And he says he's smart enough to recognize the reasons for it. We're not fucking stupid. We know what you're doing. The last 2 people that I had live with me, not the one that currently is, but 2 people prior, one of them just flat up, took a whole bunch of video games and stuff like that and sold them and controllers and all this stuff. Okay? And my reaction really is, whatever. You hurt so much, and that is another way of being broken. It's happened so much, you just don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like, I expected it. I knew it. I knew it was going on when it was happening. But somehow I thought, still in my head, and this is where I'm a fucking idiot, you can do a change, and you want to, and you can still make things better, because I'm not expecting you. If you're a thief, I'm not expecting you to live with me suddenly and me try to help you out, and you instantly are no longer a thief.
Right.
I think things are going to take time, and I still believe in my head that it will work, and you will do better. And the one after that stole as well, and I'm like, whatever. I told him, it doesn't matter. I'm whatever people want me to be. I'm there for you. If you choose to take it, you do. If you don't, and that was never me before. I struggled and I strived to make sure they were better. But it becomes, we recognize what's happening. And going with Gabe's statement, because there's a lot in here, I dwell unhealthily on my past decisions.
Yep.
I'm 50-50 on that one, because I do it too, but I also realize that they led me to where I am.
Yeah.
And though I don't like who I feel like I am inside, though I hate what I feel like inside, the people around me have been affected because of those bad decisions. And sometimes for the positive, usually for the positive.
Yeah.
And I still try. So I think it's 50-50 on that, but the ticking clock, oh my God. I wanted to be somewhere else right now. I chose the life I chose. I even tried to quit doing what I do. I tried to give it all up because I'm like, I want to be somewhere else. And I mean, everybody I knew did not want me. I won't say everybody. The majority of people I knew did not want me to make that decision of giving up what I do in life and for a career. It was about them. And people like us say, if it's about you, then it's worth it. Screw what I want. And so I'm still doing that. It's not where I wanted to be. Would I trade it, though? There's only one thing I would trade in this world, and that would be to have my mother back. There's nothing else I would trade for anything. Even though now my mom will probably be getting older, and she'd probably be hitting there at this point, but when she died, she wasn't old. You know, and to be to have that back. But other than that, there's nothing I would trade. Because those decisions did make an impact on a lot of people I know and love and care about. Even the people on this panel very much love and care about you. Continuing the topic, and in my head so much, I got to take it line by line. In my head so much that I neglect to appreciate the things I do have. That one, I am wrong for, but I agree with you. Because everybody takes advantage of the things they do have, and they neglect them because they're second nature to them.
Yeah. And you remember to appreciate it when it's gone. When it's too late, you realize you should have been more grateful for it.
And finally, my lifelong struggle is listening to myself when I want to change these things. Again, I mean, you took it right out of my memoirs.
Yeah.
You did. And we do. To think that broken people are using it for an excuse. To think that broken people are on here thinking, I just can't do anything about it. No. They know what they can do. I know what I can do. Nikki knows what she can do. Bill knows what he can do. And Jane, you will know what you can do if you don't already. But it involves removing who we are. And that's the problem. It's not the struggle of not knowing what to do. It's having to become someone else that you were so proud of. That everybody who met you loved you in every way because all you did was care without judgment. You know, like I said with the relationship thing and stuff, by the way, I'm sorry, continue with Gabe first. I haven't had a friend visit me in over 6 years. Well, if it's an option, I will. I was like,
I feel that though, Gabe, because I am one of those people, I swear to you, I could plan a party for a week, a month, a year. Nobody visits me. Like, nobody comes to my house. I go to them. Like, nobody comes to us ever. Ever, ever. And so for that reason, it keeps me from ever asking other people to come. Because in my mind, they're just not going to come.
well, that's where you're fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Why? Because I do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
She just said come about 4 times. Is that the sex show now?
You know what? I'm going to let that go for right now, Bill.
This is
'cause
not
we need that laugh.
Beetlejuice. Yeah, this
We
is
need
not
that laugh, Bill.
Beetlejuice. Just
Honestly.
because I say it 3 times.
We had a little bit of it here. I'm actually going to hit that up too in a minute.
I don't.
So
I
you'll
don't.
be-
Just side topic here. I've been trying to find an excuse to show this on the show for whatever reason. This is the only time I can think of to use it.
Oh, that's perfect then. Okay.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
How much shit are you sitting on over there just waiting for the right moment?
Oh, dude.
I mean, one time you pulled out a
She's got-
wrestling belt.
Yeah, she's got a whole table.
Oh,
of,
it's also
like,
it's on this side. I'm a prop comic, man. I don't know what to tell you.
You know, Gabe, I
Got
felt like
everything.
you did friend visit for over 6 years. Now, I'm not going to say I've had nobody visit. Because I have, and I've had parties. That's pretty much where they come from. But I started thinking, and when did I invite somebody? You know what? I just like Nikki said on there, I often will invite and they won't show up. So in my head, I say, well, then I'm not going to invite them anymore. What's the point? Because it hurts. It hurts to invite people and they don't show up. So you give up. But when we don't show up and we have something come up, we don't give other people that credit. You know, we could be invited somebody or not be able to make it for one reason or another. And then we wonder why they don't invite us back. Yet we do the exact same thing. The biggest catch on that is invite, because some people don't know. And Gabe, I don't know if this is the same with Nikki, myself, Bill, and Gabe. As you get older, you stop invading people you know with families.
Yeah.
You don't think to go over there when they have a family to take care of, when they get in a relationship, because as you get older, most of your friends do that, and it's their personal lives. And gone are the days where you could just stop by. I mean, I'm still a single man bachelor, and I'd be cool with it, but most people I know aren't.
Mm-hmm.
As they get older,
Oh
their
yeah, after
values
school
run.
they get married and they have kids and stuff, and then you start spreading apart,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and then they have their own family they're doing stuff with and everything, so it's not the
Mm-hmm.
same.
Right.
So I guess one of the biggest things, Gabe, like I would come see you. I would absolutely come see you or Nikki, but I can't think of one time you said, "Hey, come over to my house." Not because you don't want me to, because we
Mm-hmm.
don't think that way. We're stuck in our old ways where people just came to see us without
Yeah.
reason or provocation.
Actually, I'm stuck in that broken way of thinking, even if I say come, they're not going to come. Like
Right.
I've literally like, had a party set up, like ready for a big ass bonfire, liquor, food, everything, and not a soul showed up. And I was so crushed. Like I had been, I'm one of those people you invite like 90% of the time. I go to everything I can go to. Um, and it just broke my heart that,
Yeah.
all those same people I went out and did for them, or,
But
might have done other things. I've done other things for people because
do you punish other people for that? And I say
no, I
this
punish
because
myself.
no, I'm serious. Do you punish other people for that? Let me explain how I'm saying that.
Oh.
It's happened so much to me before, and I said I've invited people. We got another panelist coming on in a second, but I've invited people. They haven't shown up, and so when I meet new people, the idea of inviting them over is kind of dismissed me. And I don't know if Nikki's hearing right now because she's muted.
Yes, I'm hearing
But
you. Sorry.
yeah, when I meet new people, the idea of inviting those new people over is dismissed because of how the old people have acted. And
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Do you punish new people for that?
You know how I punish the new people? I'll be like, yeah, I'll be by, and then I don't show up.
See, when I tell new people I'll be by, they take it a totally different way.
Well, I mean, that too, but
All right,
they
Scott,
just
welcome
don't
back.
show up.
We'll be with you in just 1 second, Scott. Welcome back here. Gabe says, "Come over to my house." I'm sorry, Gabe. I'm busy that day. But I'm sorry. I'm just
Nikki?
Not right now, though.
not right now. Okay.
Nikki, if you have a big ass bonfire with
No.
beer and booze and food again, let me know. I'll bring 100 people.
Got it.
Well, I'll
Well,
be glad to come over, Gabe.
If
And
I
same
had,
with you.
I mean, I don't think I can have a bonfire in the middle of my living room, so I'm kind of not in that place, but I do have
So-
a party coming soon.
So, Scott, how are you doing? Good to see you. You
Okay,
are
hear you.
not. I can't hear you at all. You have no microphone right now. So while he tries to fix that, just say hello when it's working. If we hear you, we'll stop on that. And we'll take it to another aspect that the escalator was talking about over there in the sex show. Even, I think for me, and I don't know about Bill, because Bill, we've talked about this and our numbers were up there. Like, I even sex wise, I've been completely broken.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about it anymore. I used to, because I had so many people when I was younger come out to me and stuff like that, was with hundreds of people. Like, and it
Hundreds?
was male and female. Oh, way over. You missed that show.
Woo!
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you
when I-
did.
and this
I
is what
actually beat
happened.
him by a little bit, so
Barely. He's got
By
years
a
on me,
little
though,
bit.
so.
yeah, this is true.
No, we cannot.
No,
Scott.
Scott. No, we can't.
It says you're actually
Muted.
muted right now, Scott.
He wasn't, though, when he said, "Can you hear me now?"
But he is now. So if he said it after he muted, I don't know. I have to keep checking. Sometimes, Scott, if you get a chance, just try logging off and logging right back on, and
That
sometimes that'll
helps.
fix
Yeah,
the
that
problem.
helps.
In my defense,
Vertical
I grew up
cam
in a
will
different time era
Mm-hmm.
where sex was different. So
Yes, you did.
Also agreed. And I mean, yours was even more promiscuous than ours was.
I can say, as a broken person, and then you mix in like sexual things, for me personally, I was that person. I was so broken inside, I would just freely give it to whoever. It didn't matter if if that was the only thing they wanted, it didn't matter to me. I just was like, here, just take it. I have nothing else to give, so just take it. And
Yeah.
Nikki, I won't say this to you, but I've said it to other women. I have a time machine.
can I get in it, please, and go back about?
Well, if you
20
want to go
years.
back with me, then you know what's going to
I mean, I'll go back to Woodstock if I can.
For me, it was a little different. For me, it's like sex became boring. It was an act. First of all, most people that did it just wanted only that.
Yeah,
The friendship was gone.
yeah,
Or if it's a relationship, it was just about sex. It was just about what can I get, and it
Yeah.
destroyed years of having a good friend,
yeah. See, for
regardless
me-
of who it was.
For me, it was a tool to try, like, it temporarily made me feel better about myself because somebody wanted me, like I was worth something to somebody. However, that was not the case. So when you get past that moment of feeling like you're worth something to realizing, oh, I was just totally used, then you go, it's like, it's the roller coaster of life.
That's what I'm realizing as I'm getting older, that I cared about every person I was with. And that's
yes,
true.
me too. I
I
loved
did,
them
and
from the start.
There was a ton of them.
Yes.
But I did individually care. It wasn't just random people. It wasn't just anything like that. I actually genuinely cared, but to me, sex was an act, so it wasn't a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that changed as I got older, and I started to realize these people were just using for the sex, like you said.
Yep.
Even your one night stands, did you
Huh?
care about them?
Yes.
Even your one night stands, did you care about them?
Yes.
Yes. I would tell
Okay,
somebody I
so-
I
loved them.
thought
within
there
a-
was going to be a future in the
days.
morning, and that's why I'm so against
Yes.
one night stands and barely ever do them. Because
Yes.
when I'm with
But
somebody,
then when you
even on
wake
a
up in the
one-night stand-
morning, is it different?
No.
matter of fact, yeah, it
See,
is, because I'm heartbroken.
Well, yeah, if they're gone, yeah.
So and there's differences. So I've had the situations where I took girls home, told them, hey, you know what, we're just having fun or whatever, and sit there and talk to them and stuff before we even had sex or anything like that, and say, holy shit, I generally like this person.
Yeah.
And then boom, they're gone the next day.
That's it, yeah.
And I've done it to girls too. Don't get me wrong. That's why I said I'm a breaker too, not
Yeah.
just broken. And it just, it's weird, but I have the thoughts and everything that with what I did in my life and how I treated women badly early in my life, that I may not know what love is because I have not felt love for anyone in a long time.
I don't know what love is. I just think love was often misplaced.
Yeah.
Could I ask you a question real quick?
Hi, Scott. We can hear you now, by the way.
Hi, Scott.
You can hear me? Good. Hi.
I have a question for you real quick though.
Mhm.
For you, King, something that makes me curious on it from a lot of the stories that you were telling about you being a breaker. What was that kind of like moment for you when it really clicked that you can't keep doing that?
Honestly, at the point in time when it was going on, it didn't. What happened was is I got involved in work. All right. And when I got involved in work, I wasn't actually seeing any girls or anything. I wasn't even like one night standing anything like that. I was making so much money. I was a happy, happy man. I had 2 car lots. I was a purchasing agent for 4 other car lots. So I was making $1,000 a day, 4 days a week.
Woo.
I didn't care
Wow.
about anything else. So I didn't care about anything else. I didn't care about women, anything like that. I mean, in granted, this is hilarious. I had the car lots during the day and purchasing agent during the day. I was still working at the bar at night, and there was tons of women up there because the bars that I worked at was called Club Royal, then it was called Dazzles, then it was called Jumpin' Jacks in southeast area down in Oakland and Macomb County. It was the biggest bar around, and it was also the worst bar around.
No. I don't know if there's ever a moment that makes us realize and stop, aside from nature takes over in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say that. I mean, we still have it. We can still manipulate and get what we want. But the difference is, as you get older, you never had to manipulate to get what you wanted. You never had to try to be something different or something
Right.
else. People liked you for who you were. And unfortunately, we live, especially in the age of technology and dating apps, we live in a very materialistic, shallow world
Yes.
where people take everything for face value instead of realizing who a person
Yes.
is. And that
Yes.
truthfully has hurt me in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people look at me, oh, you're just an old fat guy, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
I actually use, like, I joke sexually with people all the fucking time. Continuously. Why? Because it makes me feel when they joke back that moment of they still like me. But
Of acceptance.
if there is a chance that something could really happen, I won't joke with them at all. Because that will lead to me being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I joke sexually with somebody, it's always because there's no fucking chance. You're
Yeah.
not going to be with me. Now, have I been wrong about that? Yes. In the past, I thought there was no chance, and I was wrong. But in general, no. If I think there's a chance, I'm not joking with you that way. I don't want to, because I pick the people who there's no chance but can joke back and make me feel good about myself for a change. Instead of use me for sex that night, I lose a friend and I miss them forever.
Yes.
And every time I see them, it's only about sex. Well, fuck those people. Scott, so I want to get to you because you're here and you're sitting in the background all pretty, and I don't think I can hear you anymore. Did we lose you?
You can't hear me?
Oh, I can
No.
hear you.
I
Oh,
can
there
hear
he
you.
is. Yeah.
I thought you
what's
were
up,
out for a minute.
baby?
We didn't hear
Yeah.
anything.
Good. I didn't mess with it.
Woo!
So, Scott, before we've talked a lot. I don't know how much you've been watching or hearing on the show. I know you have some issues,
I've
you
been
said.
I've been in and out all day. Or well, the last hour and a half. Okay, so I'm going to touch down on something that was brought up earlier, real quick. The with
Show your
the
hand, Nikki.
finding out if you guys are still compatible after a certain point. That's where me and my ex figured it out, because I was always taking care of the family. I took care of beyond the family. I mean, nephews, you know, her kids, and I was over the road 5 days a week. Well, come the end of that, I bought a company and I was home every day. That's when I realized there was something wrong with us. You know, when you're not around someone all week long. So, you know, that what you guys were saying earlier was like, oh my God, it's so true.
Mhm.
It's
No.
amazing how many people have that in common.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I found out I'm not so central. Before I actually say that, I want to say that Benji was
And
the
Jay.
MILF in the middle taken. I've never been called a MILF, but yeah,
You're not in the middle either.
I'm kind of in the middle.
I guess if you go up that way.
Fuck, better look next time. Yes, she is.
Yeah, I flashed in my ring.
I know. I saw the fuck better look next time. The one thing I used to be really guilty of being this, and that I'm not, and that's a lot thanks to this show, was thinking I was so much the only one out there like this.
Right.
And I had a lot of people who I just like, nobody knows what it's like to be me. And to an extent, there's parts of it that I believe is still true, and I'm sure we all believe there's parts of it they don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
But you say things, you see stuff like Gabe said, you talk like Scott just said about hearing like that nails it. There are so many people that feel this way.
Yeah.
And we're all like almost doomed to keep it inside and not be able to share it with anybody or have anybody to talk to about it, because we truly believe people don't know what we're going through. We talk about people taking things at face value, yet we do it ourselves.
Yep.
We'll see somebody. I won't think that Scott's been through this, Nikki. If I didn't know you, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Right.
Jane, same thing. Bill, for sure. Like I never would. You know, when I met Bill at the bar, I never would have put him upon this kind of character.
Right.
And,
And part of it's because we so professionally put on that good face and the smile and the laugh to make it seem like we are just okay. And sometimes we're the
Well,
ones
that's
hurting the most.
that's what everyone kept telling me. You know, they were like, I can't believe you're leaving her because you guys were so happy. No, I put on a face.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm always smiling. Ask Keith anytime.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I go to the bar to forget about
Yeah.
what's happened to me in the past. You know what I
and we
mean?
talked about that briefly
Yeah.
too. Like that's with
Yeah.
my job. Like that's the
Absolutely.
rewarding part about it.
Yeah.
But they do. When you smile all the time, go back to Big Heart, Have You Mind. One of the first shows we ever had. When you're smiling all the time, there's usually a reason that's dark behind it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not because you're happy all the time. It's because you're hiding.
Yep. Hiding
hiding
or
behind
trying
I
to.
don't want people to feel the way I feel inside, so I always try
Yeah.
to make them
Right.
smile.
You keep
Yeah.
that part of you. You keep it hidden
And
because
if-
you don't. And you're also one of those people, probably, I'm guessing, like again back to that show, is you don't want to burden people with your problems.
Yep.
You think they won't understand them.
This
Right.
is honestly, your show's the first time I've actually opened up. I tried once before prior to, and I got really bad, like response from it, like a
Mhm.
negative response from it.
Mhm.
And I just closed back up, and I was like, I can't. I'm not going to talk about it. Trying to let new people into my life, and
Mhm.
He's like this season's Bill.
Yeah.
Bill first came on, he opened up. He's like, "This is the first show I've been able to do this. This show's helped me so much." And now he's a panelist. Now we got Scott in the same boat.
Just don't say
White trash Christmas.
and you'll be fine.
Uh-huh.
okay, you keep
Actually,
saying
just say
it.
it on
He's
the
trying to
show.
get you.
You can say it on the show. You just can't be watching the show and
And
put
say
the
it in the
comment
chat.
on there, or Facebook will take you off. Boom, 30 days.
Kicked out.
I've never been kicked off of Facebook, so
I have too many
All right, here you go.
Try White Trash Christmas.
you go.
Go ahead.
times.
I just wanted to give you a feeling of it for a minute. There you go.
That's how it feels.
now you mentioned earlier like throwing money out at friends and them treating you like shit.
Yeah.
That's my life story right there.
Nailed it.
These last 4 months, I sold my company and I had a big amount of cash. And I was able to do what I wanted to do with it without helping anybody that I didn't want to, that I didn't feel like I felt obligated to.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of backlash from my family because how much I've spent, but in reality, I can make it again. I'm 34. I'm right in that age limit you guys were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 6
So-
years before you realize you're immortal, Scott. About 6 years.
Yeah, I went and bought a skateboard, so I still think I'm immortal. So
Well, give it 6 years or when you hit the curb off the skateboard. One of the
my
two.
nephew literally just did that 2 days ago, and he just messed up his whole leg. 14
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah, my
So-
brother-in-law shattered his femur thinking he was cool and gonna show the kids how you can hop a curb. Yep.
I want to hit a comment that's been made to me off of here. It's not on here, and it's about Elizabeth we were just talking to, and she says that we were talking about her marriage and how people convince. She said she was talking to her the other day, just convincing continuously to be back with her and trying to manipulate her in every way, and that's what they do. And I just want to remind people that are going through breakups like this that don't listen.
Right.
They had their chance when they were with you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've given more than one shot, especially, that's not going to change.
Yep.
So when people are trying to, again, go back to the fact that they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
The reason they're hitting you with those words is because they know how to affect you.
Yes.
But if they meant anything, they would have said it when they were with you.
Yes.
They would let you know. But no, it's a way to
Well,
get you back.
actions speak a lot louder than words.
And they-
Go ahead.
They do, absolutely. The last November, December, before I filed for divorce, I gave her every option.
Mm-hmm.
I took her out with me and tried to get her out, and like we went out, got dressed up for Halloween. I ordered our drinks. Before her drink came to the table, she already left and went home.
And some
That's
people who are so broken themselves, that's how they behave. They're so broken inside themselves, or they're one to break so many people that it's just they think nothing to just
In some ways, it atones
piss
for
on
things in their head. It atones for whether it's for a good reason or a bad reason. That's what's going through their head.
yeah.
And Scott, you were saying, because I mentioned the money thing, throwing it around. And a lot of people think, like I said before, that you're doing it to buy friendship and buy shit like that, and you're not. Sometimes you just have it, and I'm always like, what am I going to do?
No,
with
I had to
money?
get rid of it so she wouldn't get any of it.
Yeah, but I mean, my idea. But there's other ways. You could have selfishly gotten rid of it for yourself.
I could have, but
you chose
I mean-
because you have extra money to share with people you like and care about.
I-
You're
I-
not always trying to buy friendships with it, and that's what people confuse.
Right.
Like,
Right.
sometimes it's like, what am I going to do? I mean, I buy it to enjoy things, and making you happy and getting you something is enjoyment for me and something that makes me
Right.
feel good. So I'm going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Because I can. Maybe you can't right now. Because I'm in a position you're not means nothing besides I'm able to help.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Or I can. And I think that's... People should realize that sometimes. Rhonda Sheridan's here with a bunch of hearts. Love you, Rhonda. Thank you for joining us tonight. So we've covered that it hits obviously in every aspect anybody can break you. Even parents can break you. I don't know if we have anybody on the panel that relates to that. I don't.
Yes.
You do, Nikki.
Yes.
I am the way I am because of my parents.
Yeah.
All right.
My
well,
mom.
I'll let
my-
you two take this one for a moment. Explain how your parents. Cam, we'll start with you, Nikki.
You know, just growing up, my mom was that negative voice in my head always. At a very young age, I realized it. I think I was probably 6 or 7, maybe 8 when I said, "Oh, I want to be a nurse when I grow up." And that was like something I said for years. My mom's response was never, "Oh, you can be anything you want to be." It was, "Oh no, your grades in science are not that good." And it just kind of escalated from there. I've always said, because my relationship with my mom is very broken. When my children's dad passed away, I called her because my sons asked me to call her and let her know. And the first thing she said to me was, "Oh, Nick," because she didn't answer my phone call. She called me back and said, "Oh, Nikki, I didn't even think of you." And then she caught herself and said, "I didn't mean it like that. I mean, I didn't think that it would be you calling." And I'm thinking to myself, no, you said your truth. You know, your first sentence was your truth. You didn't, I was not even in your thought process at all. And, you know, I've just always said my mom had 6 children. And in her mind, she must have just had enough that one was disposable to her. Because-
Apparently. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. Because the last time that I talked to her I was still gonna like forgive and forget. And I had gone and gotten her a gift for Mother's Day, and I was gonna go there, and I was told I was not welcome at her house because I was fighting with one of my sisters. And that was my moment where, you know, sometimes we just have to cut off those negative energies, even if it is our mother. And I did. I cut off my mom, my siblings. I'm just now starting to talk to one of my 5 siblings again, but at an arm's distance. I keep her at a very, you know, far
We lost
distance
Scott.
because I'm afraid of her trying to break me again, or, you know what I mean? So sadly, the one parent who supported me is no longer around. Like, my dad was my best friend, and he's been gone since 2011.
We're shrinking. We're back.
We're just keep getting smaller and smaller.
Jane,
Yeah,
keep
it's
doing
sad.
that.
I want to
It's-
actually.
It's a sad day when, you know, somebody can say, "Oh, my parent broke me," but she did.
It's
And-
funny that we brought this up at the same time this comment came in. Apparently, there's somebody else that understands the idea or probably has talked about it on this panel that didn't raise their hand when you and Scott did. And if I'm reading this correctly, Rhonda here says, "I've been broken as well, and I try my best not to break my child." Jay, do we know who that Jay is?
My child, Jay.
Yeah.
That's not your mom, is it, Jay?
Hi, Mom.
Oh. Aw.
That's okay. We can talk about anything on here as long as
Well,
Jay is
I-
comfortable with it and you are as well.
I asked her I told her she can participate if she wants. Like, it's something she didn't watch earlier, so I guess I'll say it a little bit now. Like, I talked about, you know, earlier in the show, the beginning of the show, like the biggest place where I've seen like brokenheartedness was my mom. And the one thing I do regret, even though I was a kid, was I didn't understand that.
Mhm.
And you know, I'm very grateful, you know, because she tries very hard, and you know, it shows with her all the time, especially even being in the show.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
no,
You
like,
shouldn't regret not knowing that, because her job as a mother that you don't know that.
Yes.
You know, it's
Yes.
that
Protect your
those
child.
burdens
Yes.
don't
Protect your
come
child.
onto you.
Yes.
And that is a sign of a very strong, good mother. But I'm a little bothered. I try my best not to break my child, Jay. And I'm going to tell you right now, as far as Jane has said, I don't think you've been responsible for breaking her at all.
No. But I understand
But
where
I
Rhonda
get-
is coming from, because I live in that fear myself. Everything I do as a parent for my children, I seriously think to myself first, how would my mom handle this situation? And I do the exact opposite, because I never want to create that trauma or that, you know, that feeling of abandonment basically within my children. And so everything that they do, I am front and center. I'm their biggest cheerleader. I'm encouraging them no matter what the situation is, even if it's going to make me sad, because I will never let my children feel that way.
She says that she's a parent; she'll never separate from her baby, which obviously,
Hmm.
and it's that line right there. You're never gonna break your child. You'll be there. I mean, my if my mother hadn't passed away, it'd be the same thing. I mean, she would never have left me. She'd be
Hmm.
my mom till the day I died. I'd
Hmm.
always be her baby. It's not gonna change.
Hmm.
She says she started to hear a story. I left my home just before my 17th birthday. This sounds actually familiar. I
Yeah.
was separated from my parents for over 12 years because of who I loved.
Yep. My mom kicked me out at 16 years old. I came home from work and my shit was sitting on the side of the road. I didn't know what I had done. I was a straight A student. I worked, 30 hours a week. I walked 5 miles one way to work. I didn't know what I had done to cause this, and alls I could come up with was my mom was broken, and she was. This is how she was broken, and she was breaking other people, and I was one of those people.
I'm gonna say this to Rhonda. She says that Jay didn't break me. It all happened when I was 17. But you do have the fear out there. If I'm a parent, I'll never separate from my baby. I'm sorry. I'll try my best not to break my child, Jay, which is good. And the one thing you can count on is you can never guarantee that your child or your parent are not going to break at some point.
Right.
That can happen. But you can always be there to help them put pieces back together.
Yes.
Never worry about doing. If your child breaks, never blame yourself. If you are there, the kind of parent you are, and you've been through it, and that's one of the things that really is going to help you to be so strong and be such a great parent to our lovely third panel panelists on here, because you know what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want anybody to suffer in that way, and you
Right.
do your job fantastic. And think of Jay as a very young individual here who is into making movies and has the best disposition and tries to help the world. She does everything she can to make the world a better place. And she does that because of you,
Yes. We are a
because of
product
what
of
you
our
did.
environment. Yep.
Right? So you didn't break, you reinforced.
Yep.
So
Aw,
be
Jay.
proud. Be proud of that. I love that
Mm-hmm.
girl right there. She's amazing. And I love her mother. I used to always tell people, no matter what I was going through, and I've said this before, they say, "You are fucking an amazing person. I love you so much. You'll do anything." My words have always been, "Thank my mom."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish I could say that. I think I'm the person I am because of my mom, but because I wanted to be the opposite of her. I didn't want to be. Like growing up hearing we'd be leaving church and my mom would be like, "F you, you effing N word." Like there was just so much anger and hate in her. I could have easily become a very hateful person.
Gabe says, "You want your child to survive a harsh world but still believe in magic."
Truth. Yeah.
That is the pinnacle of parenthood.
Yeah.
We talked on our last show. I know it's abortion related and stuff, but people said that I don't want my child to grow up in such a terrible world. It's not right to the kid or anything. And I didn't say it on the show because this topic wasn't brought up this way. But that's not your job. Your job is to make your child able to survive in this harsh world. What Gabe just said. It's about building your child to make them strong so that your child can make a difference in this
Yes.
world.
Yes.
And I'll tell you right now, Rhonda, your child does.
Yes.
And Rhonda also says it really hurts when your family doesn't want you, and I know whatever makes Jay happy makes me happy.
Yes. Me too.
No, you just start
That
to.
time.
I mean, it hurts, believe me. I'm kind of a black sheep of my family. My whole family's a black sheep of my family. What I had when I had them. But no, all it does is it makes the bond closer and makes you realize where your family truly lies.
Yeah. Although I can say sometimes I wonder, am I that like helicopter mom because I'm holding on so tight because I need that reassurance that I am not turning into her. But I know, like, my kids are amazing kids, and yeah.
So we haven't said this yet, and I was
Yeah.
wondering. Actually, um, I'm thinking that Keith's the one's closest to my age that there is. Do you
Mhm.
think that the amount of times that you've been broken in your life has been trickled down and made it worse at the last one?
Yes. You're saying so each time it gets worse pretty much? And
Yeah.
then when you hit
Mhm.
that pinnacle right there, one can whereas it took 25 to make you think before, it takes
Yeah.
one now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
when you meet somebody, regardless of who it is, or when you trust somebody or you take somebody in, you have said in your head that this one is totally different than the other 25. When you
Yep.
put that much faith in somebody, and I mean 25 is a low number, but when you put that much faith in somebody on there, it's all 25 plus them hitting you again.
Yes.
Because you're
Yeah.
beating yourself up because you knew better.
Yes.
You
Hmm.
knew it was going to be
That's just
different.
something I wanted to say and have you say the same thing because of the fact that some people may not understand. You know, you have the problems in your life where you're broken and stuff like that, but it gets worse every time as you go down the ladder.
Because
Yeah.
it hits harder. Like Keith said,
Yeah.
it's everyone before that plus that one all smacked back in your face. So now
Oh.
you not only have that one to process, you got all 25 plus
I mean,
to
the ladder.
rehash.
The ladder is an absolute great analogy that you just said because if you think about a person like that, a person climbs their chop on a ladder. If every time somebody hurts or breaks them, just like a ladder, if a rung breaks, you can still avoid it. You can step on it differently. You can
Mhm.
still get to the top of that ladder, and you can keep doing as long
But
as
if you
there's a
slide
few
down, you
rungs
slide
left.
down.
You can keep doing it, but eventually, there's nothing you can do but slide down the sides
Yes.
because
The
there's
only
no
thing
more rungs to
the
climb
only
back
thing
up.
I'd done in my life was when my goddaughter passed, is I stepped up at that point in time, and that was probably the only time I stepped up,
Yeah.
just because of the fact that, and I'm going to try to get through this again, saying this is she tried to change her life because she saw me beat up, and then it ended up costing her her life.
You
Mm.
disappeared for a second. We
And
talked about that briefly.
Yeah.
yeah, so when I was bringing her back to Michigan and she told me she was pregnant, she had the miscarriage. It wasn't too much longer after that there was some kind of complications with that, along with she had gosh, I don't know, she had a small hole in her heart that was never
Mm.
seen.
Mm.
So the complications from her miscarriage and that, she died.
Mm.
And I
Sorry.
just sat there and I sat there and talked about it, you know, with a couple of my friends and stuff, and I was like, holy shit, why would she have to go through all this? And then trying to think about trying to change who she was
Yeah.
just because some guys tried to molest her and beat the hell out of me.
Mm.
That's what people do.
The only,
You know, rather
and the only
than
thing I couldn't tell her was, and I know it sounds bad, but and I won't go into it, but vengeance was paid. But I don't think I changed those guys' minds
you
on
didn't.
what they did either.
No.
So
No,
that's
you
that's
didn't.
the catch. Like I was saying before when we were talking about people, they know they're manipulating. You're just another
Right.
prospect to them. You're just
Right.
gonna be what you need. But that's what people do, and that's the thing you were talking about. Is somebody who does that shouldn't do that, but it makes them a very strong person to be able to do that. And it's not right because they suffer for it, but they will change their lives in order to avoid hurting another person.
Mm-hmm.
They will conform to the other person rather than have the other people be around them for who they are. Luckily, Jay doesn't have that right now.
Right. Right.
Based on this right here, and I'm saying that based on these comments that I'm going to present right now. Whatever makes Jay happy makes me happy, and that's ultimately how we all feel. But especially more as a parent, and you know that's how you feel with your child. I so understand wanting to be opposite, and I think I understand what she's talking about here. If I'm correct, Jay, am I correct?
No, I think she was I think if
I'm
I'm
going by the second comment on here as well.
yeah, I think she was
So
talking about me saying that when I parent, I do the opposite.
Okay.
Like I do the
The
opposite.
next
of
comment is
them.
why I thought she was talking about something else. Because she said, I'm very proud that my parents and family have progressed and are very open and loving to Jay.
Yes, I'm so
So-
happy for Jay that is how that is because it could have gone complete different direction.
And I mean, that's what you're doing, and that's what the family's doing, and that's, you know, if I can talk, because Jay's being awfully quiet on this, I'm not used to that.
Aw, Jay's mama's making her emotional. It's okay.
But I do believe
She's reading
that
the comments as they come up.
it's a really hard thing.
You don't gotta do that. You don't gotta out me. You don't gotta.
We love
got-
you.
You outed yourself our first show. Now,
Hey,
I'm
hey,
sorry.
hey. If I could take a moment to say something.
Finally, I was speaking before you go.
Right.
Well, it's not exactly on this. It's just from the story that you're given, King. I just want to say I'm just very sorry. Like that's like that is like a very difficult cross to bear. You know, like
Mhm.
and I don't know. Like that's
And it's kind of why I couldn't get through it, and it's
Mhm.
something that I live with all the time, and I think about all the time because, I mean, as Keith knows, my only friends are gay women right now. My friends all stepped away from me because
Excuse me, are you saying I'm
I
a gay
had
woman?
a little.
Yeah,
Huh?
that's exactly
gay
what he
woman?
said. Yes.
I'm bi. I am not gay. I'm kidding.
You're
Yeah.
on top, so it's
I
okay.
can't add
And
anything.
now
You're
you're on
on
top
top.
of me, so it's all
I'm
right.
on
So you're on top of me, kinda, so it's all right.
I got like two beneath me.
Lucky you.
Oh, double fisted.
Can I want to say something that I don't want anybody to take offense to, but it's a word that actually gets on my nerves sometimes when people say
I'm getting
it.
out my gun.
When people, I'll just block you. We're good. It'll be like White Trash Christmas. You said gun. Bye bye. One of the things that, for me, and I know some other people, I don't know people on the panel necessarily, something Jay just said to Bill is the words "I'm sorry," and
Yeah.
"I'm sorry" are not good to hear. And I'm not saying that you're not wrong to have emotion and sympathize, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're not saying it mean in any way, Jane. So I get that. The problem is we hear that so much from people, and "I'm sorry" indicates that you don't know. You're not sorry. You didn't do anything. You're not related to this, and you have no idea what I'm talking about. And I think sometimes we got to choose those words, because most people in these situations, it's almost a trigger word. And when you go through it, because everybody says it who doesn't.
So, what is the
mean
right
it.
thing to say in that situation?
I
though?
have
You'll
sympathy for
often-
you.
I often say I'm very saddened to hear that,
Mm,
or that hits me hard, or
yeah.
I can
I
sympathize.
feel you. I feel what
I
you
feel
feel.
your pain.
Yeah.
But
It's
see,
something I used to say all the
I
time.
feel like "I'm sorry" covers that.
Yeah, I do too.
You're right. That's the problem. "I'm sorry" is a blanket covering
But I get it being a trigger too.
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this at all to take Jane down in any way, because I understand it and I did it myself. I eventually have tried to use different phrases to appropriate it,
Mhm.
because it is. It's like when somebody passes, the last thing you want to hear is "I'm sorry" 100 times.
Right.
When your family member passes, because it's a blanket thing that everybody says. It doesn't differentiate. You're just putting yourself in a group of something you've heard 100 times.
Yeah.
And sometimes people need to know. I have found responses with me going up to somebody, and this is just reference for people, and saying "I'm sorry to hear that the conversation's over."
Mm.
I have found that I'm saddened, or "I understand your situation. I've been there. I know how hard it can be," and stuff like that opens up discourse.
So, what's
It-
the best word you can say?
Though, just like we were just saying on there, it can be, if you relate to the situation, you got to kind of let that through.
Then
You got to be
tell
like,
them, I'm here. I'm here for you.
if you need something, I'm here. And they hear that too, but it's a little
Yeah.
better. But when you say you can relate to the situation, nobody says that to people.
Right.
When you say, I feel your pain, I've been there, but I'll never truly understand what you went through. But I've been through similar things and stuff like that. It definitely hits deeper. Or
Yeah.
I'm sad and I can't imagine what it's like going to that. When you say you can't imagine what it feels like, that person feels vindicated in their feelings,
You're right. Yeah, you are so right.
because they feel that you understand how big this pain and hurt is to them. And
Yeah.
again, please don't take it personally, Jane. It was just a reminder of those phrases
Yeah.
on there. When you're dealing with someone, you're talking, and they have a story like that, and they're very deeply concerned, careful what words you choose, because "I'm sorry" will often end the conversation.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, you're sorry, so is everybody else. Bye.
That's so funny that you
Jane?
bring that up because I can remember specifically when my dad passed away, so many people coming up to me, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And in those moments, I remembered thinking, like, this is happening to me. It's not happening to you. So you couldn't possibly understand even how I'm feeling right now. And I would just walk away. I would just walk away.
And I say it just like our pronoun game, Jane. I say it kind of just in the same way as that. That sometimes we have to learn to word things a little bit differently if we really want to have that sympathetic draw for that person or to be empathetic to what they're going through. I'm sorry is not bad because for a lot of people, it's the
And
only way they know how
Jane,
to
I'm
express.
okay with what you said. And if
Yeah.
you think it's bad and you want to make it up to me, my truck is sitting in my driveway and it needs to be washed tomorrow. So just saying.
Get off
I thought you were
your
going to go
fucking
with the
ass.
fill up.
I thought he was going somewhere else.
I totally thought he was going somewhere else with
I was
that.
getting nervous. I was
It's
hanging
Bill.
up. I was
Bill,
hanging
that's
up.
not usually Bill. And by the way, just so you know, Rhonda is also your friend there, Bill.
Aw.
There's a lot of people who are your friend. Rhonda seems like she's a lot of people's friends. Is that true, Jay?
Oh, dude. Okay, so quick little story. Quick little story. So, when my mom had to make a Gmail account back in 2009, she decided to go by a name. It was Rockin' Rhonda 2009 at Gmail. Still uses that, and to this day, because she has that as her Instagram, I believe. At least she did. All of my friends back in high school will call her Rockin' Rhonda. And she loved them and they loved her, and so she'll always be Rockin' Rhonda.
I'm about to go find Rock and Rhonda on Instagram.
Go, yes, please.
at
My
my
mom's
mom.
amazing. I cannot hear you, Keith. I don't know if that's just me.
Are you
No, I
muted?
muted myself.
There we go.
I muted myself. I coughed and
Um,
forgot to unmute myself.
But no, she's she is Rockin' Rhonda because she is everyone's friend. She's very
I mean,
caring.
I knew a Rockin' Rhonda, but it wasn't the friendship she was known for. I don't think it was her, though. So we got Gabe here. Gabe says back to the apology thing. It's context, though. You can see in people's eyes how empathetic they are at your loss. And that was one thing why I was trying not to down Jay at all, because you could also tell the way that she said that she really did sympathize and mean it in every way, that she was a loss to say anything else. So, I mean, obviously the way you say it is very important in there. Some people aren't good with words. They're trying the best they can to show support. And again, there's nothing wrong with it, but I do know if you ever really want to help somebody, words beyond I'm sorry are going to have a better impact and open up a better conversation. Rhonda says, don't wash your truck tomorrow. It's going to rain. Hey, that's my washing strategy. I was like,
Aw. Trina.
and Trina's here watching from the sweet side of Detroit,
Trina.
Michigan, the USA. Trina Ross, good to have you back, Trina. We always love when you're on here. We're talking about being a broken
By the
person.
way,
So
I'm also in Detroit right now.
Where are you right now? Oh, I guess don't actually say that because we're on a show. But you're in Detroit. Woo, good on you.
Yeah, well,
I can see the
I'm
gunshots in the
parked.
background.
I literally just parked my semi. Let's see, where is it? It's somewhere back there.
I
You guys
see it.
can see it.
Oh wow. Okay.
I literally just got off of work, so I'm down basically at 94 and 94 in Van Dyke.
No, don't be saying that on.
No, I'm inside the enclosed fence.
Rhonda with no H. So there's no
209?
Y,
Oh, I
there's
found
an
her.
O.
Yeah.
found her.
Oh, you found her.
Rhonda.
Drina says, I'm doing okay so far, hoping all of you are. We are. This has been a deep topic. We're lightening up a little bit now.
Yeah.
We're
I'm
pretty
being
much getting to
fabulous.
a lot of it. I am fantastic. I love you. How are you doing, Trina? Before I know we're running low on time here on this show tonight, but is there anything particular you want to talk about as far as being a broken person? We're here for you. We'd love to talk to you. I always love when you comment on here. So, Scott, anything else you wanted to add? Because you've had the least time on here at the moment.
So we were on the whole parents thing, right? Growing up in my household, I mean, my dad, my mom, they were there, but they weren't there. My brothers got the full effect of it. They're, I think the brother that's between me and the oldest, he's 7 years older than I am. And then the oldest being 9 years older than me. But they got to enjoy the sober parents and the football parent, my football coach dad and baseball coach dad. And,
Yeah.
you know, my parents, where we lived in California was the meth capital of the world at the time. I mean, and they got hooked. Basically getting into my teens and growing up. I mean, I was an 8-year-old kid. I could run the streets until 5 a.m. in the morning. No one cared. As I got older, for me to hang out with my dad, I had to do what he did to hang out. Otherwise, I didn't get to go out and talk to him. You know, by the age of 16, I dropped out of school to get a job to make sure me and my little sisters had food in the house because they let the bills drop because their drugs were more important to them than the kids. So in the middle of the desert, the closest neighbor we had was 5 miles down the road. We had well water, which you had to run for like 5 minutes to get clean water out of it.
It tastes so horrible. Oh, it tastes horrible.
I can still I love water. I mean,
Not
I
well
like water,
water.
but not well
so
water.
much.
Ugh. Tastes like
I appreciate bottled water so much.
I like bottled things too.
I mean, I wasn't at all excelling in school. I got a scholarship to go to UTI, but my parents couldn't afford to put me in room and board, and it was 2 hours away from our house, so I couldn't go to college. So it was at that point I was just like, well, you know, never having anything in the house, I dropped out, went and got a job, and made sure me and my sisters ate. And bad parenting taught me how to bounce checks and screw my credit up before I hit 18.
Yeah.
I understand.
Um,
Really quick, Drina says I'm outside the city for a few days. I just wanted to get that out of there. Get that out there really quick. Then you lied. You said you were from the sweetest side of Detroit. You lied to us. And Rhonda says named after her dad, Ronald. And actually, that's pretty cool. I've never heard
like
somebody named Rhonda
that's
Ronald.
really cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Sorry. I'll get to Trina's next comment shortly.
So watching my parents struggle with their addiction and with 5 kids, that's why I don't have kids. That is my key reason why. I won't ever say they never loved us, because that was one thing that was in our household that every single one of us, we still to this day tell each other we love each other. Sisters, brothers, mom, dad, you know. A little too late. They're out here now. They're off everything, but you know, in the back of my head, I know where I came from.
Let me tell you, Scott, it's not too late. It's not a little too late.
Well,
Everybody changes during those periods.
It's not too late that I'm so happy they fixed it. In the back of my head, I still know what
they did.
what happened to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm
Yes,
not
I get
saying
that.
I'm not saying that it's too late that they did it. No.
Well, I do know some
upset
people.
they
Damage
waited
was
for
fun,
all of
though.
us kids.
Yeah.
I'm upset that they waited for all of us kids to run away from them. And
Yeah.
then they're like, oh, we fucked up, instead
Yeah.
of doing it then.
Sometimes,
when we needed
unfortunately, and sad it is, that's what it takes, though.
Yeah.
You know, it really
No.
does. I've talked about my brother multiple times on the show, and the fact that my mom's death is really
Go ahead.
what it took
No.
for him to change a lot of that. I love my brother; he was always great, but the way he treated family and stuff changed drastically at that point, because he was not the most family-oriented person, and he realized how much was missed. Go ahead, Jane.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt or anything. Just, but I get what you mean as well, Scott. Like those were also moments in your life that were very influential. You know, like growing up with that, very young, you know, and not so great a place. You know, like that's the kind of stuff. Even now, like if you can't, you know, be able to put that aside, like you're saying, like have that in the back of your mind. You know, it is the fact that it is still there. You know.
Yeah.
And you know that's something that can be very rough, you know.
Yeah. And at that tender age, those are moments that can make you or break you. Luckily, you came out on the other side probably a much stronger person because of it.
I know I did. I mean, at the age of 11, the first time I ever seen my dad cry was when my grandmother passed away.
Wow.
His answer wasn't, this is part of life or talk to me about it. His answer was, here's a handful of joints.
Mm.
Deal with it.
Yeah, for a lot. I mean, I grew up in. I've
11.
lived in Michigan my whole
Wow.
life, and it was kind of similar in Hazel Park where I lived, except for that everyone was a lot closer together, and we didn't have well water. But trust me, you didn't want our water either. It takes a
Don't
lot
want to drink
sometimes.
the water in Hazel Park.
No, you grow a third eye.
But be happy
I
with
thought
the
that was
strength
fine.
you had. Like they were saying on here, be happy with that strength you had, because
Yeah.
those are defining moments when you're
Yeah.
young and all that. Those are defining moments of your childhood. When you can rise above it and not follow the status quo, that's something to be completely proud of. And not only that, because you did that, probably has a huge impact on the turnaround the rest of your family had.
Yes.
Well, with my parents, even my grandfather's going back. I'm the first male to get a divorce in our family too.
Hmm.
And that was one of the things I struggled with. I didn't want to break that. All my sisters, they all stayed, they waited until they were after 18 to have kids. It was just something that was in our morals. So coming out of it, one of the things I always remembered is, even though we were struggling, my parents never hesitate to say, hey, your friend needs a place to live because his parents kicked you out. We have a bedroom.
Mm.
And that's kind of where I get that from. And, I grew off of that. Who I am, like I said, who I am has a lot to do with how I was raised. And,
Absolutely.
Yeah. All
But
of
my
us.
parents, they had a
confuse-
firm hand. My mom broke my nose more times than I can count, but
But don't confuse tradition and something that's never happened as being the right thing to happen.
Right.
When you talk about
No.
no males gotten divorced, and it was hard for you to do, I get that it was definitely had to be hard for you to do because it's something your family was proud of. But then again, you look at the past, and especially the situation you described,
Mm-hmm.
was it always the best choice not to get divorced?
Right.
And that's where you're a pioneer, making things better, and hopefully every generation from you is going to improve on those aspects.
Right.
So
Right.
you're something definitely to be proud of. Drina, sorry it took me so long to get to you. I had to be back on the porch for dark. You say broken, what's your meaning? We're talking basically about how you're not the person you once were. And especially when you can identify what it is that pulled you to be that different person. That's the and you broke me. It's identifying what has broken you, where it is. It doesn't mean you can fix it, but what has broken you? What has made you see things differently than you never thought you would? And correction from the sweetest sides of Detroit, Michigan, all eastern, including suburbs where I am today. Oh, the grammar check, spell check, you know me. All right, so you're still okay. That's fair. So you're actually in Detroit when you say that usually. So okay,
Just on
Yeah,
the east side.
yeah. And Rhonda says, don't wait for someone you love to pass away to reunite. Why?
True.
Because, you can't reunite at that point. I mean, if you're religious, there's you can reunification later, but not everybody is religious, and don't you kind of want to spend the time alive, and it's something you don't want to regret.
But I can say this though, if that relationship is toxic for you, it's okay to not try to rekindle it. It's okay to stay back, especially if they are still just as toxic as they were the second you stepped away from them.
I really like
yeah.
the fact that you just use the words, it's okay,
Mhm.
instead of you don't go back to them.
Yeah.
Because that's what people need to hear, because it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. But it's
Right.
okay if you don't want to.
Right.
For a toxic relationship, but also be sure to be able to separate childhood growing up with adulthood,
Yeah.
and then with middle age.
Yes.
And people always say childhood to adulthood, but middle age counts too, because
Uh-huh.
there's 3 periods in your life that are going to have great change. It's childhood, it's your teen years, and it's over 30. It's your late
Mhm.
teens, 20s, and then over 30
Mhm.
that you're going to start to have the biggest changes. And some people can fuck up their teen years or fuck up their childhood and become an entirely different person
Mhm.
by the time they're older. And it's not wrong to want to try to rekindle, bring that back. But at the same time, Nikki's right. It's also okay if you don't want to. But if somebody reaches out to you, I only think it's wrong to not give them a chance.
Right. Which, if I had that chance, like if my mom were to reach out to me today, I would answer the phone. But I know for a fact, because I have continually tried to reach out, even just like 2 weeks ago, I tried to reach out to her. I get ghosted, sent immediately to voicemail. Now, my sister will make excuses for her. Oh, her phone's messed up. Oh, this or oh, that. No, because she has answered before. It was not until she realized whose number it was that she stopped answering the phone call.
Yes.
So in that instance, I will probably, till the day that I lose my mom, I will probably always continue to reach out. And my husband will ask me why. Why do you allow them? Because he can see the hurt when I try to reach out and I get no response, or those moments when I would have called my dad because I was so happy for my kids or myself. And because he's not here, I try to reach out to her just looking for that acceptance. And when you don't get it, it hurts. But, you know, at least
That's
I
true.
know I will have no regrets in the end.
Rhonda agrees that it is okay. You know, I never had my father growing up, my real father, and he wasn't there. And he reached out about, well, pretty much a couple days after my mom died. He didn't even know she died, but he reached out to me, like a couple days either. And I did. I took the. It was through Messenger, through Facebook, and I took the chat and stuff. And you got to sometimes give people that chance, even if it's later in life. They may never be able to recover what they once were supposed to be,
Right.
but it could be a chance for them to reconnect. Now, I left the ball in his court, and I've heard from him like once in the last 12 years, 13 almost. You know, so whatever, he made his choice. But and to me, that says no loss. Moving
Right.
on,
Right.
you know. But it would have been nice to actually know who my dad and my other family and the actual relatives
Sure.
that I do have, at least half, who
Sure.
they are. So it can be a good thing and give people a chance because we've all made mistakes as a kid that we all say at some point, stop punishing me for things I did in the past. Well, you know, practice what you preach.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you got to be willing to forgive. Trina says we could never be a complete family after our parents' death because honesty didn't and don't exist with the siblings. Check everything. LOL. I love your attitude on this stuff, Trina. I really do because you seem like you're the kind of person that would belong on this panel right now because a lot of things when stuff like that happens and honestly doesn't exist, you kind of just go, yep, that's how it is.
Yep.
You know, you get so used to it, and that is the definition of being broken. I'm sorry that the honesty doesn't exist with your siblings. It was a similar situation that I dealt with thine, but
So
It
you
did
should be
change.
saying, I feel your pain, not I'm sorry.
yeah, I'll shut up. I said I still do it.
Oh, wow.
I said
that
I
one
still
just got
do it.
thrown right into your face.
I still do it.
Woo! Love you.
Sorry, you said so. Fuck off. I still say it too, and that's what I said. That's why I said not to demean because I still say it.
Yeah.
And it is a trigger for some people though because
No, you are.
That's
you are
what it
right.
is.
I've yet to
You are
find
right.
that to be
Right.
a trigger for anyone, so that's probably why I say I use it a lot. I've
you
never
don't
gotten
find
a
it to
neg-
be a trigger. You don't find it to be a trigger because they don't tell you.
Right.
I've never
But
had someone
trust
just
me.
walk away after I say it.
No, but a lot
I
of times
personally walked away.
no, but they're not looking a lot of times for more than that. You know,
Right.
there's no
Okay.
more conversation they want to have because
I'm-
they've heard it 100
And
times. It's
me
not a
personally,
trigger.
if I use it, it's usually in the middle of a sentence. It's
Well, like
usually
I
like,
just
I'm
did,
sorry,
yeah.
but right.
Yeah, like I just did in the middle of the sentence, just saying it, but not about the direct topic. And it's not, like I said, it's not that it's wrong, going back to the I'm sorry comment. It's not that it's wrong. It's that if you want to really sympathize and get more story out of somebody and let them
Yeah.
know, you want to use a different phrase. Because they're not going to tell you. When my mom passed, if I knew you then, Scott, and you came and said, sorry, your mom passed, like, thank you, it was really hard. You might say something else, say whatever, and I'll just move on. But believe me, it would have had less of an impact if you said, I know the feeling. I lost my parents a long time ago. If you need somebody to talk to like that, let me know. That would totally be a different impact on me. Or if
Southern
you never
funeral.
lost a parent, I don't know what you're going through. I can't even imagine losing my parent. You know, that opens up a world of conversation.
Right.
That's something where
Southern
you're there
funerals,
for
you
different
go down
reasons.
there and it's all they say is, I'm so sorry for your loss. And then they spread through and then you talk to people after fact. That's when they walk in and the family greets everyone who's walking in. Just saying.
Rhonda says, but always remember once they're gone forever. And I want to go back to my brother for a minute with my mom passing away, and that's what it was. I think in a lot of people's heads, they're not intentionally not doing things or being part of certain families because they think there's tomorrow. They live life like there's tomorrow. Tomorrow exists. And then when it's taken away all at once, you realize all you lost. Yeah, Jane, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This kind of leads to something that I wanted to say a little bit ago, but the conversation was going. I didn't want to break anything. But I was having a conversation just yesterday with a friend of mine, because there's been some more serious things that have been happening with me. You know, like I've been saying, there's been some bigger choices in my life that have happened within like the past couple of days even. And my friend made a great point, and he was like, well, Jane, you know, there are two types of people in the world, and there are those people who believe that tomorrow they're going to wake up every day and they'll be fine, and there are those people who do not know, you know, who cannot say for certain that they will wake up tomorrow. Um, and what he was meaning by it was like this idea that a lot of people have, where they are, you know, impenetrable or invincible, like I was saying earlier,
Immortal,
where
yep.
they believe everything, yes, is immortal, is infinite, that
Mhm.
that it's going to be possible that after the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, like apology, you know, that it's all going to be fine, even though sometimes they, once they show it again, you know, like you said earlier, Keith, like that is that shows habit, and you know,
Mhm.
that's the other thing that makes it so shitty is, you know, like we also said, we're not stupid, right? We know
Right.
that there's going to be a third sorry and a fourth sorry, and we do become numb, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
but my friend made that great point of just because everyone is seeing is just because someone is expecting to get up tomorrow, um doesn't mean that you have the ability to tell them that they can't.
Right.
and
Um,
and that's true, you know, like at some point we do have to let go, and we have to accept that someone's going to look at a way that they are, and someone's going to mistreat the people around, you know. And it sucks, and it does suck, especially because you know, when you care about these people, you want to give them what you can. and
Right.
and you know, it comes to a point where even when you do go, it does make you wonder, like, will they ever figure out why, or will they always demand an answer when you've already given them one?
some people need it to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need that moment in their life, and it's sad that it has to be that because it's
Yeah.
something, as Rhonda said, something you can't recover from. It's gone
Right.
Yeah.
now. You lost the opportunity
Right.
to do it. But some people need that to see that, because you're right. They live in the world that they don't believe something like that would ever happen, and it takes it. A lot of people who are in our boats have dealt with tragedy early on, and we've dealt with things like that, and we live the fact that we don't know tomorrow will ever come. So maybe that's some of the impact we have on being such given people. We're
Right.
trying so hard to make the world a better place, is because we've seen that tomorrow is not written.
Right.
Drina says they'll never admit how they were never there. Back to the same thing we were just talking about. And I don't listen to excuses concerning my parents. You know who you are. Uh, I don't, but they do. Only say I'm here if needed. Call me every 5 minutes. I know. I was like, I totally agree with you. Um, back to Rhonda, back to the conversation of, you know, give them the opportunity and then put it in their court. Amen. Always leave the ball in court, so you know you've done everything in your power to contact. And I believe that's important, because the one thing you can't do is put yourself in a situation where you blame yourself.
Right.
You
Or
have
have
to be able
regrets.
to
You
look
know,
back. Yeah.
that's that if I may, or that kind of reminds me of another story, something that happened when I was younger, that still like affects me a lot today. But I used to have like a very caring friend back in middle school. I went to like a charter school and then a public school, which for me was a really big contrast. The idea of lockers and hours and, you know, all this shit.
Sure.
I remember the first time seeing like people running down the hall. I really thought it was a whole stampede. I really did. Like, it was nuts. I was like, holy crap. But she helped me. She helped me, and she showed me, you know, she was able to show me how to handle those type of situations, and we became very close, and we became really great friends. And you know, life, it kept seeing to pull everything apart, right? And one day, she had suddenly like not responded to any of my messages or my calls, and it became a very concerning thing. And for me, I'm a very persistent person, you know, and so like I found any way possible to try to figure out like what is going on. And the truth of the matter is, and I never even got it from her, but she was done with me. And you know, one of those things that make it so like hard is nonchalantly, you know, I was online. I found her online, and I was like, man, we have not talked in 6 years, maybe. You know, like I was like, I'm gonna try one of two things here. I'm gonna send a message, and one of two things is gonna happen. I'm either gonna get a reply or I'm gonna get a block. And you know, I told myself at that point, at 6 years, what do I have to lose? And I sent a message saying, hey, I don't know what really had happened in the past, but I want to figure that out. And I'm also wanting to move on because it's been so long. And if you want to talk, I'm around, though I understand if you don't. And sure enough, after waiting for a while, that there was a block almost immediately after reading the message. And in a weird way, it kind of gave closure. It
Yep.
gave me
That's-
closure in a way that I didn't expect. It was quite to the opposite of what I expected. Because for me, growing up, I always thought that closure was something where you're able to find a way to talk it out and find, even if you don't agree on the same answers, that you will have at least that say, right? Um, but I learned closure in the way. Whoa, something fell. I learned closure in the way where sometimes you're just not owed that explanation, or sometimes it's too late to learn that,
Mhm.
and you know, whether it's something that you did yourself or not, you know, I still can't say if I did something wrong, but I hope that wasn't the
Because
case.
that's
Yep.
because you ended on the note of doing something right. You ended reaching out. You ended taking your position to try to make them respond and not knowing. And that is a closure.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're no longer questioning who did anything wrong. You know when you make the right move, they did the wrong move. That is
Right.
closure.
Right.
And that's important. That's why it's important not to ignore somebody, because you're also sending that message in the opposing factor. Like you just said, you're pretty much done. That's what you
Mhm.
needed.
Mhm.
Drina says family isn't DNA linked to sometimes very true. Family carries an emotional supportive connection or becomes toxic.
Oh,
Rhonda, I'm not going to read that comment. We try not to use names like this on there, but she can respond to you separately. I apologize for that. Um, and they're right. People confuse family. Family is forever. Family is everything. You're right, but what defines a family is not DNA.
Right.
What people's actions define family. Did you
Mhm.
just dismiss my comment? I'm taking away your power. You muted yourself too.
no, not on purpose. It's not on purpose. It was not on purpose. I was I misclicked. It was a
So-
misclick. It was a misclick.
I have a question.
Yes.
So we've been talking about this for almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we're
This
we're almost
honest
done.
question.
Yes.
It's an honest question, and that's why I'm saying this before Keith cuts everybody off. Has your ideas of being broken changed? Have you learned something? Have you went a different way in your mind?
Mm.
You're
I will-
talking us independently, no, because I don't think this particular topic was about us learning as much as it's expressing what happens to people.
Right.
So that maybe people out there can learn. I think sometimes we do realize certain things we do, and that is learning experience that can break other people as well, where we're all sitting in our own little pissed off world thinking we're broken, that we do things to break other people. I think some
Right.
of us probably pointed out things.
So
we
what
realized.
is
Yeah.
what is everyone's main comment about being broken that could help somebody out?
I'll give
Keith?
mine last because mine is the final word.
All right, Nikki.
Mm. God, that's a tough one. I can say this. Being a person who has been broken so many times and risen from the ashes, if you will, it has made me realize that it's okay. That it's okay to hurt as long as you don't let that define the person that you are. And I can say this too about the show. This topic caused me to reflect while I was listening, to reflect on the fact that I probably did break more people than realized. And not ever intentionally. I would never intentionally hurt anybody. But maybe because I was so broken to begin with, maybe, you know, maybe I wanted them to feel how much either they hurt me or how much I hurt. I
That's
don't
the
know.
best, one of the best full circles we've had on this show. Because when I opened, I
That
said,
was
"Are you
very
the
good.
ones doing it
Hmm.
and don't know it?"
Yeah.
So that was really cool. What
Yeah.
about you, Jane or Scott? You got an answer to Bill's question?
I was doing this. I was going to say that, so just give it a
Well,
go.
I was reminding Jane to unmute her mic.
No, no. Hey, I've been on top of my mic.
Really?
Oh.
That sounds
Oh.
exciting. Get one of those nice long mics. You need more batteries?
Right. You need some extra bass.
No, just in
Little
general,
Howard Stern going.
No.
All right,
Yeah, I really
let's
want to
just
that.
quit Jane
Wait,
and go to
Jay's
Scott
mom's
now.
on here. Stop. Stop. We're all a
Jane's
bunch of
mom's taking a
perverts.
sabbatical now.
going back to what what Keith said earlier, there's a whole lot, there's more of us out there looking, just watching this, realizing how many more are similar in a similar situation as I am, with people in general. I mean, yeah, what have I taken from this? I think that's the biggest thing is, stop being so closed.
Yeah.
Go ahead, respond, Bill, because this is your thing.
Jane, what do you got to say?
Oh, let me make sure I'm not muted. I am not muted.
You're
Um,
not muted.
So I guess the best thing that I can say, and it kind of relates to what Nikki has said, because you said it very beautifully. You know, I think something that's very important that a lot of people, don't really think of, especially in the moment, and rightfully so, is that in a kind of thing with a relationship or some form of loss, loss comes in every side. And the thing is, like, even if a person who causes that breakage, if they still don't understand it, eventually someday they will, and it's going to put them in a different type of spiral and a different type of brokenness. Kind of like with me and my friend, I don't know what it is, and that broke me, was the idea of not knowing.
Yeah.
And I think no matter who you are in the situation, you're always going to experience pain. I think something that's very important is just the way how we try to build from it,
Yep.
and the way that we try to grow from it, whether we are in one way or another in this situation, is to build, because that's the best thing that we can do.
Yeah, I very much agree. Before I get to Bill's answer on his own question, somebody on one of our shoulders commented on here, says the thoughts and prayers that we see after every National Weekly Tragedy has probably helped turn the I'm sorry thing into a trigger for people. It is, because it loses meaning when people say it repeatedly,
Yeah.
which was the point, and I wanted to get that
Yeah.
out there. Drina's also here. She says she's learned to allow people to be themselves because she's not perfect, but she will listen. She's more open and doesn't become an emotional victim as much as I once did. And that's a huge one. And even me talking here alone, realized that I become an emotional victim.
Yeah.
Just talking to you guys. And sometimes we don't know what to do or how to handle it, but it's true. And we are, and that victim takes over. But in fairness on that, that is what makes us broken. That's why we're in need of repair
Right.
on that. And we got a laugh from Rhonda. I think it's something that Jane said.
I think
And
it was
that
the microphone
she's here.
comment.
Oh, and she's here. And she's here as well. Okay, so Bill, answer your own question.
Well, sitting and listening to everyone, and I mean, and knowing what I've thought in my life and everything like that, if you're truly a good person to the friends around you and they break you, you just have to remember that it is not your fault,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. And if you're a person who, like I was when I was younger, and you had broken people, right? You need to change your ways and get across and help people out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I say this, and I'm going to use this example right now just to help this man out, because I love the guy. I don't ever see him in fishnet stockings ever again, but when I needed a washer and dryer, and Keith drove from his house down to my house in Hazel Park and brought me a washer and dryer when I was hurt,
Aw. Aw, Keith.
and delivered it because I couldn't come get it.
Aw.
and you think, and when you're that good of a person or trying to be that good of a person, you can't judge them down, and they're not someone who's breaking anybody. They're someone who's trying to do what they can
It's about to-
everywhere they go. And I mean, Scott was saying something earlier. So I'm 58 years old, and I've had people that have owed me money in the area of $30,000 for 20 years.
Whew.
And
Can I
they
borrow
all
some
work.
money?
And, well, they all work, and they families with 2 people working in the families and stuff like that. And no one's ever offered to pay me back.
As
So
soon
You
as,
know,
as
you
soon
know,
as they
but
do,
me,
Nikki can borrow money.
I don't loan money out.
No.
Loaning money out causes problems.
Yep.
If I give you money, it's a gift. I don't.
Yep.
If you
Well,
want to give it back,
We said
I
that
won't
at the
say
start of the
no.
show. I said
Yep.
you take these
yeah,
persons.
Scott, that was
Money,
something
We
that
just
Keith
give it away.
said that at the beginning, and I told
that's
Keith the same
me
thing. I said,
100%. Especially when it comes to my family, my sisters,
I
my
have,
brothers, everything
yeah.
I give them, it's a gift. I don't want it.
Giving your family is different, but giving to your friends and stuff like that, and then they think,
It's the
but
same.
like
I mean,
I
if
told,
you're
I
a
told
friend,
Keith,
if you're my friend, you're family. That's where I stand.
I agree
Mhm.
with that. Go ahead, Bill.
If I consider you as much as a friend, you're family to me.
Yep.
I agree.
That's who I am. There's no in between for me. Either you're family or you're not.
Yep.
And
That's
if I
why we
consider
have this
you a
topic.
friend, you're a friend. Otherwise you're acquaintance, and that's where we stand. And I'm not going to loan you money.
Right.
Well, you know, I think
Bar
I'm a
You're
friend,
not
right?
special enough.
You're not going to loan
Bar
anybody
acquaintance.
money.
You're a
So
friend, Keith.
well, I think something too. When you say that, like, I think for me, something that helps me to look at these kind of things is the fact of a show like this. You know, like the ability to have this open, you know, forum.
Forum.
You know, not to plug ourselves in our own
our
show,
Sunday
but
open
it's true.
forum.
Yeah.
Well, we do
But-
because we are unique in that aspect, and it's good to hear that. I appreciate that because that was the point of it. So you can plug all you want.
Plug
Yeah, we're not
away.
supposed to
Every
outsiders.
Pretend
every
it's a
Wednesday
microphone.
and Sunday, baby. Let's go.
Keith, give your final comment.
Hey.
I mean, it's Bill's show. It's Bill's rules. So here we go. All
What do you
right.
guys-
Well, no, I had to push it. What the hell?
I was waiting. I
I
was waiting.
control all the panel stuff.
Well,
I am
Bill's
so
old.
removing
He
your
can
power,
be
Jane.
Hey,
Like-
Bill will
Bill's
just do the
old.
talking.
Jane, send me that control. Let me run
No.
it. So,
She can't. I gotta
No,
create it.
even if I wanted
all
to.
right. Well, then you send it to me.
I don't trust you at all.
Oh.
Now,
every show would be sex. Sex.
It would
Yeah.
not.
And if
this would be him. He
Why?
would just be like, "Welcome. Today's topic is I'm broke." You know what? Forget that. We're talking about sex tonight. I was like,
No one agrees to it. You go straight to the final word.
Hey, we're gonna do conspiracy theories for like 6 weeks because we got to cover everything. So,
"Oh my god, that would be so long." Anyway, you
whole
tell me to
summer
do the
special.
final word, and then what do? You just
Talk over
yeah,
you.
yeah.
and talking. Yes, yeah. Go ahead.
But I mean, there's not a lot to say with the
No,
final
no,
word that
go
you
ahead,
guys
go
didn't say. Can I fucking talk? All right, so I was like, there's not a lot to say with the final word, really, because you guys did cover it a lot. A lot of us do constantly feel like we're broken. We feel like we've got nowhere to turn to. And one of the biggest thing, by the way, you know I love you. I want to get this comment in. My trigger is you know I love you, right? Burns me up. Let's hit that really quick beforehand, because that's a good point. I hear that a lot more and more nowadays. I'm going to switch over before we get back to this to our regular review if you've got something to say on this. Because anybody has something to say on that, because I do this all the time. Matter of fact, I
Say
think I
that.
just said it to somebody on this panel. I think I
Okay,
said I
so-
don't care.
Question. When you tell someone I love you, do you guys believe that the same thing when you say I'm in love with you?
No.
No, those are two
No.
totally different
No,
things.
because
No.
I have friends. I say I love you, but
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not in love
That's a
with
whole.
them.
That's a
And
whole
that's why I'm wondering
grammatical.
Yeah,
Well,
she's
that's a whole
saying there.
grammatical
Because,
thing.
Well, because loving
love
somebody
my
and being in
friends.
love are two different things.
but like Drina saying that whole, you know, I love you, right?
Like, and I'm going to use it to the example I just used in there. I was trying to reach out to somebody who's probably very well aware, who's paying attention right now. and talk, and they didn't respond. I said, well, I love you, right? Or, I care about you, I think is what I said. Very, very similar to that. And it is because I'm really thinking that, but I never really saw that as a trigger either. So, in
Yeah.
the same way that I called their words somewhat a trigger, I wonder if they're going to correct me right now since they're just opposite me on the panel.
Quit sending that to me, Keith. All right. Holy shit.
Oh, you
Hey.
forgot. You confused the word love with something else. I think it was
Hey,
low that
well,
was going for.
It's the same thing.
So, anything to say on that, Jay?
Um,
Do you find that at all to be triggersome?
no, I mean, depending on the context.
Yeah.
I know that might be like a bitch way to kind of cop out on that, but it's true. Like I've known people who said it like how you said it, and I know what that means. But
Mhm.
I've also been in relationships where, that can mean something a lot more cold.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I get that, and it's something to be aware of. A lot of times we say and do things. We sometimes think, like I said, we're in these situations and we think we're the only ones going through it, and people don't understand. And we do things to trigger others all the
Yeah.
time.
It's actually got me thinking because I remember when the boy's dad passed away, one of the things I said to them was, well, your dad loved you, right? Like I literally said that to them, and
Mhm.
they could not honestly answer that.
No,
They couldn't-
because they have
they
nothing
couldn't.
to base it on.
Yeah.
At that
So
point,
you
I'm
don't
not
ask
saying your
them the
situation.
question, you just tell them, right? Instead of asking them a question and
Well,
you
in
tell
her
them.
head, I'm sure in my head, it's assurance is the reason it's said.
Yeah, I was just
But
Right,
trying,
but you-
you know,
in
I was
somebody
in the
else's
moment.
head,
So
like, how do I know?
instead of saying I love you, right, you should just say I love you.
No, I said, your dad loved you, right? Because he had passed
No,
away.
I'm just saying. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to do that assurance thing or ask the question of the person, you just say I love you,
Yeah,
or
of
your dad
course.
loves you, or whichever
Of
way you want to
course.
go.
You
I
just
guess.
got to change
Of
up that
course.
phrase, like, I'll
Yeah.
suck you off for a cheeseburger or something
Right.
like that.
Right.
Something decent.
Right. Right. They just couldn't
You want-
respond to my question because truthfully, my oldest son said he had only heard his dad tell him he loved him once in his 18 years. One time.
I've heard a
So-
lot. There's a lot of families are that way, and that's
Mhm.
something I brought up earlier. Like that was never a problem in my family.
Yeah.
The I love you, it didn't matter if you were walking out that door to go next door. You said
Yes.
it because
Yes.
it was put in us.
Yes.
You never know if you'll ever see them again.
Exactly. That's my
They
biggest
walk
thing.
out that door, get hit by a car, you're done.
Yes.
Every
that's my
single
biggest
night
thing.
going to bed, it was good night, pleasant dreams, God bless you, I love you, have a nice night, see you in the morning. It was a
Yep.
routine phrase we said that I didn't understand half as much as I do now.
Yeah.
And you really covered it because then I realized that every night there was reassurance that I love you and that I'll see you in the morning, even if God forbid something happened. There's assurance before you go to bed.
Right.
Have pleasant dreams and to talk. And I don't hear stuff like that anymore.
Yeah.
And I really should. And it is a question. She said, my trigger, I love you, right? Yes, it's a question, not true feelings to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I get
that.
where she's coming from because
I do too.
it brings me back actually to a day I was like 16 and
I love
my
you, Rhonda.
my dad actually said it to me. And at that point at 16, we're pretty selfish at 16, 17, 18. And I remember when he said it to me, I remember thinking, but do you really? I know
Right.
I know that he loves me, but I see how it can make you question.
Yeah, absolutely can. All right, so as we discussed, we're just going to pop right back over here where I once was so I can be back here again. But we feel victimized. We feel like we're the victims all the time. We feel like we have been broken. And the truth is, we're not lying to you. We are broken. We do understand what it feels like to be broken. We're not trying to make this up. We know what's happened. That was the point of this topic. Why it tailed. It wasn't just I'm broken. It was followed by the phrase, you broke me. Because we know. We want to get back to where we once were. But we often fail to see, as Bill was even asking on the opinions, what we do that impacts other people. I'm not going to lie. There's times I've looked at that phone and not answered. There's times that I've avoided a text and I have every intention of talking later and I might forget. Typically, I don't ignore texts, but I do tend to put them off, say I'll get back later, and not get back, which is something I'm guilty of too. And where that's fine for me, and it just seems like, oh, well, they'll understand, it can be devastating to the person you're talking to.
Yes.
And you forget how that feels when it happens to you. Especially in a world where communication is possible, period.
Mm-hmm.
There is no excuse, like Nikki, you were saying on the phone or something, oh, I didn't have it or didn't miss the call. We know that's not true. We're in a world of communication.
Yeah.
You want to get a hold of somebody, you can.
Right.
But you can have the biggest impact. It's not about, this show was never about fixing us because we were broken. It's about what we can do to help breaking others, from leading other people down this path, from taking really good-hearted people who have the best of intention in everything they do and turning them into people who are afraid of everything, who feel their existence doesn't matter, that they could die tomorrow and nobody would fucking care. Because everybody they've seen used them, took advantage of their kindness, their generosity. And that's where the problem comes in. It's not about us being broken. We'll try to put the pieces back together. That's what we've done our whole lives.
Yep.
But maybe we can learn and not do that to other people. Maybe you can learn and keep people around longer. Because once you break them, they no longer want to help you. They fear
Right.
you.
Right.
And nobody should live in fear. We should always try to help each other. We should always try to put our best foot forward. And if somebody reaches out or somebody wants to talk to us, you should let them. You should give them that chance. You should let them atone if they did wrong or just somebody in need. Sometimes it's not about breaking them. It's about saving a life. And if we weren't the strong people we are on this show, and I'm sure we've had our moments that we weren't the strong people, we would not have these panelists here today because they may not be on this planet today. They may not be with us anymore. Not everybody can escape being broken. Not everybody can come on a show and talk freely about it. Not everybody can feel like they've lost everything and be in that situation.
Right.
We can. Don't let one of your friends or loved ones be one of the ones who can't. Because as said by Rhonda, when they're gone, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
There is no recovering from that. So love
No
each
phones
other.
in heaven.
That's right. Really quickly here. So what do I say back? List their actions that showed me love. I pay it none right now. So no feelings are hurt. A lot of times when people say, going back to the question of, I love you, right? Response. I often say I should hope so. Or I hope so. Honestly, that is what I respond to that when somebody says it to me.
I
Because
say I
that's how
know.
I'm
Damn
feeling.
better.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
damn
say I
better.
know.
I do.
Because I do say, yeah, you damn well better. Or I'll say, of course you
Yeah.
do. I'm amazing. I'll say something like that
That's
too.
right.
I've gotten that one.
I'm the king.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll do that. But they're all like protections on
Yeah.
there because
Yeah.
the truth is, I don't know you love
Right.
me. And
Well,
I use
yeah.
the
You don't
thing,
believe it. You don't
That-
believe it for sure.
Right.
So.
That's why I say I know, because I want to avoid the conflict of
Mm-hmm.
really wanting to be honest and saying I don't really know. But
Yeah.
because I don't want to have, that conflict, I just say I
well,
know.
and it's twofold for me. I mean, if I say, of course it is because I'm amazing, that is my way of saying, you just love what I can do for people.
Mm.
That is my way of saying that. If somebody chooses to counter more, I feel better about that. But if they don't, I'm still okay because I took that trigger
Yeah.
and I did
Right.
something with it. Or I should hope you do. Is there a chance to respond otherwise? But I'm not lying. I do hope you do.
Yeah.
But I
If
don't
they walk
know.
away, then you know where it's going. Yeah.
Rhonda says, thanks for this topic. Rhonda, I love you. I miss you. So good to see you. Love the puppy.
Aww.
And the other Rhonda says, always say, I love you. The Rhonda without
Always.
the H on there.
Always.
So today's topic, let me get rid of that comment. All right. So today's topic, of course, has been, I'm broken and you broke me. We can fix it. We could do more, but we can't. Broken person can't repair themselves unless somebody gives them the tools. So if somebody is like that, don't spend the time telling them I'm there for you. Don't tell them I love you. Don't tell them all this shit, because we fucking heard it before.
Yeah.
Like we really did. Just live your life and prove it and show it. Because, people like us, we pick up on that. We're really good at that. There is no open forum coming on this Sunday because it is Easter, so I want to wish a very happy Easter to everybody out there.
What? Get out of here.
We're not gonna have dinner together like you do for Thanksgiving and stuff.
I might do that depending. I have done that, yeah. So if you'll see, check the website. Sometimes I do have an open
Buy some
show
damn
where I
eggs, color
put
them, and then have the show.
I'll color eggs.
Okay,
Oh,
Bill,
color
have you not
eggs.
missed this? Let me finish. This is my final word, not yours.
Damn it, Bill.
Do some eggs and
Cut
hide them.
me
And we'll
off,
come
damn it.
over.
Play the graphic again.
what
Play the
I've
graphic
done,
again.
what I've done in the past is we do have like an open Zoom thing that everybody's free to join. We're actually set it up. I cook myself a meal because I've been alone too on these holidays, and everybody can join and we can talk. If you're alone, you got somebody to talk to and have dinner with. It may be virtual, but you're welcome to. And that's what I
Why are you
often do on
cooking
the
your own
holidays
meal? Why are you cooking your own meal? What about
because
everyone
I'm
else?
worth it.
Because I'm
Damn
worth it. Are you
straight,
making,
honey.
Are
Well,
you
you
making
cook for
turkey
everyone.
ham? Are you making turkey and ham, Keith?
If it's just me, I'm doing prime rib.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, fuck
Dinner.
yeah.
For darn sake,
Fuck
so
yeah,
you're,
Keith.
you're supposed to invite Nikki over because about the inviting people over thing first.
No, I just won't go.
You know.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just,
I'll invite you, won't go. Yeah, she won't go. I get that.
I'm just, prime rib, I'm there.
See, I know the tricks. People use me for my meat.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I just love
Yes,
the meat.
yes, I did that.
So next Wednesday, conspiracy theory.
I tucking love.
I tucking love you.
I tucking love you too. All right, our next show though, coming next Wednesday, our new topic is "Prove It: A World of Conspiracy."
Yes.
That's right. That's where we're going to
Yes.
have conspiracy
Okay.
theories. This is going to be the one show that we are going to talk about conspiracies. Everything, you can go back as far as you want. Moon landing, ancient Egypt. You can talk about even current political
Flat Earth?
conspiracies.
I,
Flat
So you
Earthers.
know I'm 58 years old. I know all the conspiracy theories. So
I want to remind
Started
everybody
Conspiracy theories.
on the panel and the channel and the chat that though we will allow political conspiracies, we still will not allow things like, well, Trump's just an asshole or Biden's just a deadbeat.
Yeah, you can't.
know.
Biden's a clown.
Yeah, we are not going to take direct insults to one side, but we will take actual opinions you have about the theories themselves.
so
And
you're just
that's
talking about the
free form.
QAnon and that's it, and that's as far as you go.
No.
Yeah,
No.
you can
no,
even
no.
you can even bring up politics, but you can't do it just because you hate one person and try to insult them. If you're doing that,
Well,
that's
no,
not
it's
constructive.
It's just something they brought up that was an old thing, and now they put it into a political situation. So yeah.
Can I bring up how Biden got shit on by a bird?
Yes, absolutely.
is that a conspiracy?
All right,
That's not
so
a
aside-
No, I just wanted to say it.
You
I
just
wanted
did.
to talk about it.
Your,
All right,
your
so-
question does it already.
This is the longest final word ever. All right. Don't forget to engage anytime we're on the show, so we'll respond to you live with everything you have to say. Join the panel, of course, anytime you want when we're live. Just follow the link at earshouldervoice.com/join, or just go to earshouldervoice.com. You'll see the link there. But it's not the only time you can talk to us. You can talk to us anytime about anything. Just reach out to us. Go to our Facebook page, message us on there. One of our shoulders will be glad to talk with you about anything you have to talk about. Whether we know a lot about it or not, and you just need somebody to talk to, we're there for you. That's not a problem at all for us. We'd be glad to engage. You can go to, if you do it from our website, you can actually do it anonymously, or you can do it on a social network where we can respond to you as a whole. You can also do it on, of course, the Ear Shoulder Voice page if you want to on Facebook, and if you want it to be open for everybody else. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow on Meta, Twitch, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. That's the other one.
Wait up.
All right, and follow us for new shows every Sunday and Wednesday, except for this Sunday because of Easter. Again, have a happy Easter. And I want to thank everybody on the panel. Nikki, of course, no question. You're always thanked. You're amazing on here. And the show's made a complete 180 since you returned, and I
Aw.
appreciate that.
Get it right. I'm a MILF. Whoever
You
said
are a
that,
MILF.
that's my new nickname. It's going to be changed. No more Nikki the MILF. It's gonna be,
That's going to be it. No, because then your kids will see it and come in the room again and comment
my
on
husband
it.
my husband will be like, what the fuck?
All right.
It's not mom. It's midget.
Yeah.
'Cause she's
Ouch.
No, actually, I'm a hobbit. Okay.
Okay, well, we
Wait,
have
how
hobbits
tall are
too.
you?
I'm
How tall are you?
5'1"
Okay, so that means you're 4'11" because you're a woman and you say that, so you're
My
midget.
family just totally laughed at that.
So,
You can't,
Nikki,
you can't, you
thank
can't
you.
count the bun. Take off the bun. How tall are you?
5 foot.
She takes off the bun, she's 2'11".
4'11".
Jane, so good to have you on here. I mean, obviously, you're experienced a lot of things. You actually being on here helped a lot because it kind of took me back a little bit. It reminded me of when I had that attitude and stuff, and it made you actually helped me reflect better than anybody on here because I remembered that.
Yes.
and it was easier to go through and see the different things that had happened that had changed it. And God, I hope to God it doesn't happen to you. I mean, I really do, because you're a great person. You're a great person on here. You're a great person in general, and you know I love you, right? So,
Aw,
Baby. Boy.
you better.
Jane, buy a bubble.
so
No,
Buy a
thank
bubble.
you.
It'll just get rid of everything. Buy a bubble.
Right.
So
No,
thank you for being on here, Jane.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy I was able to be on tonight.
I'm so glad you're a part of the show, Jane. You
Me too.
like you are
Hi.
that missing
Oh, you never
link.
said that about me. What the hell?
Guys.
Bill, I just
Read between the lines, my friend.
I
Read between the lines.
can I say I've been all over this show on ever since my first one. I've been a panelist. I've done the open forum. I've hosted. I've been in the comments. I've done it all within the first couple of.
I don't know. It
different,
sounds like you're
meetings.
sleeping with the boss, trying to get to the top really quick, huh?
Where's he going with this?
Are we still
No.
recording? Are we...
Yeah. Yes.
But no. It's this has been an amazing group to be with every week. I look forward to this every
Aw.
Wednesday. I'm going to miss it this Easter Sunday, but I hope everyone does have an amazing holiday the best
Yes.
that they can.
Well, we
Even
love
if-
having you and look forward to you being on
Jane,
as well.
you have control. We can do it Sunday. Don't need
You're
Keith.
so right. It'll just
Boom.
be you and
Thank
me.
you.
Boom.
No,
It'll just
I'll
be you
be
and me
here.
all night.
No,
Oh,
no,
Nick,
I'll
does
be
it?
here.
All right.
Okay,
Scott,
she doesn't
Scott, I'm
have the
expecting you
ability
now.
to create or start shows.
Oh, well, you're no fun.
No, I
I
had,
got
I had
a
a thing. I had a thing in the
I
corner.
got a
that
friend
said
that's
go
a
live.
hacker. We can figure
You
this
don't have
out.
that ability. Then there,
I
we
have a
can't
friend
create
that
or
has
start a show.
the hacker.
Why is that there?
This
I have
is
a
the
friend that's a hacker. We
longest
can figure it
final
out.
word of my life.
Anyway,
I know. That's
thank
what I was
you.
saying. I'm trying to get
Don't
through it.
forget to tip
Well,
your
Keith keeps
waitresses.
talking.
Poor
when we're
Scott's
trying to
like,
talk,
Scott's
so.
like, come get to me at some point. I'm sitting
And,
here, I'm
uh,
driving now.
And
Fuck pulling
try
over.
the prime rib.
All right, moving on to Scott. We're gonna go. No,
Yeah,
So,
Peace Prime
Bill-
Rib. We're coming to eat.
Bill. Actually, Bill. Regardless of what you say, and we say read between the lines, you're an asset to the show because you come up with some great stuff that we don't
Yeah.
expect. The hand's back. We missed the hand.
You mentioned
You actually come up with some great stuff, and you can relate in ways nobody ever imagines. You're
It's-
like that out of left
well,
field guy.
I appreciate that, Keith, and like I said, I mean, I appreciate everyone there that's on this panel and you and everything like that. And yeah, I do stay quiet sometimes, but that's me listening to what most everyone else here, their younger people, are saying about stuff. And I do have my own comments, and they are different because I am older and stuff. And everyone's going to learn that when you do the conspiracy theory show, because like I said, it's something that I've looked at and watched and learned about all my life.
Mm-hmm. That
So-
should be. I'm definitely actually looking forward to it. Me and Nikki are gonna go at it so hardcore, though. I'm telling
Oh, I
you
can't
right
wait.
now.
I
was
can't
like,
wait.
Well, I'm coming to both your guys' house and hooking up the stun guns on your chairs and gonna
I got a
zap you from
taser.
here.
I have
That
a
ain't gonna do
taser.
shit.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Just
get a
in
hard
case.
on. All right. So
I thought Nikki was gonna say that, so
Then I was gonna get a hard
oh, we got a monkey now.
Is this the
Oh, the monkey's gone.
I don't have a wiener, Bill.
There's a monkey on your back. All right.
but honestly,
All right, but no,
this podcast is great, and Keith, you know I love it because I bitch at you when you don't have it. Hence, I
Yeah.
just said the same thing about Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
So,
Easter. We need to spend time with family as well that
So-
we love.
See?
Jane, like I said, I got a guy that's a hacker.
I'll get to you, Scott.
You got a
I
little bit of
promise.
access. I can get you in,
I got connections.
especially
We'll talk on the
because
after show. We'll talk on the after.
yes.
You got to beat my hacking abilities. Now, moving on finally to Scott.
StreamYard's wide open. Holy shit!
Scott, oh my God! I'm gonna. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go. And I'm going
Give
to
him
mute
Mute him.
Bill. I'm going to mute Jay. I'm going to mute Nikki. All right, Scott. I want to thank you very much for being on here. So, okay, I'll let Nikki back. All right, Nikki, you're back. Okay, I'll let Jane back.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about, baby. Scott, I'm so happy
No,
that you're
Jane's
here.
gone. All right. So, or Jane. All right, Scott. So I want to appreciate. I know that you try. I know you do a lot. Thank you, by the way, for pulling over to actually be on here. I know you're driving now, but a lot of it's over because it's always better to be safe. If you're ever driving and paying attention to the show, please make sure to pull over before commenting or texting or something. That's very good. But I'm glad you were able to make it on here.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I just got totally freaked out. You got
As
a
soon as
person
they got
standing
to
in
the
your
yard, I was
doorway.
trying to figure out how to make
Turn.
it work. And in the beginning, I tried to go off of Google Chrome, and it didn't want to let you guys hear me. So now I'm on the actual Samsung internet.
All right,
So-
well, that's good.
That worked out really well. It just sucks I can't use this because I'm hearing you through the phone, not through my headset.
No, that's okay. That's okay. You sound fine. We can still talk. We can always work with whatever you have. We have a recommended setup, but believe me, you don't have to follow that recommended setup. We'll work with you in any way we can. But I like having you on here, Scott. I
I
really
like being on
appreciate.
here. Like I said, it's
you-
definitely opening my eyes to everything. So
I appreciate more than you know with the comments. Just like I did Bill when Bill initially came on. I meant what I said when I said Bill had commented about opening up. Next, you know, he's a panelist. That meant the world to me, and it does with you too, because that's what it's built around. That's what it's for. We need people to see that, because when you can open up to others, it makes people feel like they're not alone. I'm quoting Brandon Punky, who actually originally said that, and I appreciate
miss
that,
Brandon.
Scott.
and
do
I
too.
and I tell you, it's a lot nicer to open up without being influenced with alcohol. Because I'm an emotional
Oh, yeah,
drunk.
100%.
I can be a real bad emotional drunk, and
Mm-hmm.
I
Me
open
too.
up and then I hear it, and you can't understand a word I'm saying. Where, I'm comprehending everything I'm saying now. So
Maybe, Rhonda. Maybe.
Yeah, Tequila Nikki loves everybody.
Right. It depends. Sometimes we've gone long enough. By the end, we're pretty drunk. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Thank you especially to the chat, everybody out there in the chat. Rhonda, it was great hearing from you as well. Glad to have you on here. Everybody else in there, especially both Rhondas, actually, because Rhonda Lowe and Rhonda without the H. Good having you and everybody else that commented. Gabriel, I know your situation. I'd love to reach out. I'd love to come over and hang out with you sometime. I think that would be awesome. Elena, we missed you. I know you were kind of watching there in the background. I'm pretty sure you, the ear shoulder voice shoulder we were talking about, though I'm not 100%. On that,
We need a
Drina, we miss you.
bonfire.
Love every time you're on as well, Drina. So I want to thank everybody. I'm sorry, Benji, that she's a MILF. And Liz, you're going through a lot, and I haven't forgotten about you, and I will also talk to you as well outside of here, because I know it's really difficult, and I hope that you get through this and you become stronger, not defeated.
And no, you're
That's
not
what you have to
alone. You are not alone.
You
Reach
are
out
never alone.
anytime.
Yep. So thank you very much. We will see you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
When you're alone and feeling down, and you're 10 feet underground, when you're so deep you're about to drown, when you're in the lost and found, 'cause heartaches only last a day. Ooh, but your heart will never fade away. Go out and find your way. Don't let them take your soul away. Not a week, not a single day. Hold true to what you wanna be. Never let go. And here's the key: be you, yeah, only you, only you. Be you, yeah, only you, only you.
And everybody's back in position like nothing happened.
I didn't do
This
anything.
You
the
were,
longest
you,
one
you
we've
were watching
done.
there, Jane. You saw everybody just like scatter, do all this other stuff. They come back like they've been sitting there the whole time.
Oh, pee's so bad.
I was also I was kind of focused. I've learned that song now at the end.
That's what
I
I
really
saw.
like that song. Yeah.
I really like that song. Like I said, I think it's one of the best ones I've chosen for the end, but it's the first time we really used a vocalized song.
Also,
Is this the longest show you've done?
No,
God,
that
no.
one with Jane was what?
The first one
I,
with Jane,
I
the
think
trans
mine was
one.
the longest. Yeah.
Uh huh.
Yeah. Before that, it was
This
racism.
is 3
This
hours.
would be
I
number
thought the
3.
other one was.
No,
This
we
is
were
a
over
3 hour
3.5
show.
on that one.
We were we
Oh,
were getting
okay.
close up to 340 on that.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer. Honestly, I gotta double check.
This one was only an hour and 15 minutes minus the final word.
Oh my goodness, that was an awesome final word though. Everyone
Final
was-
word was
What
like
final
3
word?
Well,
days
you wouldn't
long.
speak
All
up and
along.
get done. Holy shit!
It's your fault, Bill. No, I'm kidding.
Uh-oh.
Hey,
I'm kidding.
Nothing's
I'm not
Bill's
gonna be-
fault when he's on the panel. We'll talk about it being his fault afterwards.
Yes.
I had to wear my
holy
glasses to
fucking
prevent
shit,
from
the guy won't
crying
shut up.
or to hide
Oh,
crying.
Oh
It
my
didn't work.
goodness, dude! I was
His
losing
glasses.
it.
He can't see without his glasses.
Actually, I can't see with my glasses
Oh, that's ironic, isn't it?
because it's far away. Computers are not far away.
See, I can't see
I just
without
didn't want
mine.
tears to
I'm
show
like,
through because this is a
Who
tough
is
topic
that?
for me.
Who's talking?
Yeah. Oh my goodness,
boy.
I could not. Man, this has been an intense show.
Yeah.
This has been a good show.
I told you we have really deep.
Yes.
That's one reason we have some of the lighter topics in here too, that we don't go as deep
Break it up.
because you have to.
Jane,
break it
just
up
wait till the
sometimes.
sex show. Go ahead.
Also, I don't know if you guys heard that loud bang earlier. But on
Did your-
my wall, my Beetlejuice photo fell.
Oh no.
Oh, you had that too.
Did you say Beetlejuice 3 times?
That-
Did you go
No, it's-
Beetlejuice?
I
was
did.
going to say that.
Beetlejuice?
That was only
I
the
didn't.
second. Her second. That was only the second Beetlejuice. we
Beetlejuice.
heard.
No,
Beetlejuice,
it's funny that
Beetlejuice.
you said that though earlier, Keith, because I've noticed like I look over to my left and my right, and I really am like a prop comic over here. I found I have this PSP video of Lords of Dogtown.
I
and
just
it's
watched
been
that
sitting
movie the
over
other day.
here. Isn't it
I
great?
had a
It's
copy
great,
of that. I
fantastic
had a
movie.
copy of that. It just disappeared. I only had it for a couple days.
Keith,
Was that? Did Jane steal it?
No.
yes, Jane stole it.
No. It
Oh,
was
Keith,
mine.
I
I
watched-
forgot in Keith's car.
Oh.
So it
I
was
watched
mine at that
Strangeland
point.
last night.
it was yours.
I watched Strangeland last night,
hmm
and she is in it naked.
Who?
Okay, I'm gonna have to get into that. Okay.
Wait, what did you watch and who's naked?
I watched Strangeland, which Dee Snider from what band's he in, Keith?
Do you,
Twisted
I don't fucking
Sister.
remember. It's
He
it was like a
Twisted
hair band.
Sister
I'm like
with
an
a lot-
80s hair band. Give me a minute.
Oh,
Wait,
So
he's
he's in the movie, and he's the bad guy, and but the chick, Linda Cardinelli, who is Velma in the Scooby Doo movies, is naked in the movie.
What?
You get to see Velma
Yeah.
naked.
Does nerds
Velma
turn you on,
naked.
though?
That's
I
my
like Velma.
that's
That's,
my crush.
Hold
She's
on,
my
I'm sorry.
crush.
I
Hold
like
on. I
Velma.
just need to double check something. I'm so sorry. Is Velma is the one with the glasses, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
She's the one
Yes.
from Freaks and Geeks.
Okay.
Her,
Oh, that's
right?
it too. Yeah.
Her?
Freaking Geeks.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
Yeah,
Linda
her.
Cardinelli.
Okay, can
Or
I
Grandma's
make a-
Boy is the other one everyone knows her from.
Can I make
Oh.
a confession to the group really
But
Or
she,
ER.
like I said,
Yes.
Strangeland, I didn't know it, and Keith didn't know it. She was the daughter that gets kidnapped or whatever, and she was naked in the movie.
Oh, she quite is. Wow.
Yes,
Okay.
Jane.
I had to go back and
Yeah,
watch the damn thing the
my,
other
my
night.
confession is I hate Scooby Doo.
Well,
What?
Scooby Doo's already naked.
Okay. Hey, Keith, hit the button, knock him off here.
Hold on.
Yep,
Hold on.
you're out.
Hold on.
He's
No,
not-
wait, who's
No,
him?
no, hold on.
Who's him? It's
No.
a her. I'm gonna be Elena. It's a she.
I like
Her.
her. First name.
Hear me out. Hear me out. I enjoy the live action films. Oh
Mhm.
no, my light. Oh no. Oh, that was so bad.
Yeah, he's gone now. No. Oh,
No,
damn, we
okay.
lost him.
Okay. So, oh damn it. So,
Linda
Uh,
Cardinelli is
I
in the live action
enjoy the
film, just so
movies.
you know.
and I enjoy What's New Scooby Doo. The rest of it, I don't care for. I'm so over it. I feel as though they reboot it too much.
Yeah.
I think Scooby Doo is done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll watch Marvel. They don't do
Right.
that too much.
Yeah,
do
but
they?
no one,
Marvel's
but no
too
one
much.
calls me, and no one calls me
Spider-Man.
and goes, "Hey, let's go watch Scooby Doo." Everyone's like, "Hey, let's go see Spider-Man: No Way Home." I'm sorry, that's when. If
Well,
if
maybe
someone-
they
Marvel-
should.